I'm Stacy Kermeans, the administrator of Bounce Back at Windmill Manor of Coralville. We understand the needs of the patient. They want to rehab with the top-of-the-line staff and facilities and with people with the same experiences and goals as themselves. You'll find that with us at Bounce Back. Come take a tour of Bounce Back, meet us, and feel good about the people taking care of your loved one. There is really no place like Bounce Back. Bounce Back, rehab, recover, and return home.
Are you retiring and don't know where to go? Confused? Call Tammy Rowe at 631-4795. She can save you lots of money on Medicare. Get you insurance quotes from over 40 companies from the comfort of your home. She'll show you how to navigate the confusing healthcare system. Tammy's been in the business a long time, and she's seen a lot of changes in the system. Believe me, it can be confusing. So stop stressing out and call Tammy Rowe at 631-4795. 631-4795. Tammy knows her stuff.
The Solon American Legion is closed for dine-in customers, but the kitchen will be open for carry-out, curbside pickup, and delivery Mondays through Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sundays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Their full menu is available all day. On Fridays, they'll also be offering their Lenten fish, shrimp, cheesy potatoes, and coleslaw, as well as the full menu. Please help support the Solon American Legion. Give them a call at 624-2277 to place your order today. The Solon American Legion on Main Street in Solon.
More and more we see people coming in that do have allergy problems, that are looking for solid surface floors, and we take that to the next level with the Healthier Living installation. We get some pretty neat reactions from people. I'm Brad Stork with Bachmeyer Carpet One Floor and Home. We're doing that same thing that we used to do only in carpets, but doing it for all floors. We go through and we do a HEPA filter vacuuming throughout the entire area. Then we go through with a antibacterial, antifungal spray, and then we install your floors. What it does for you as far as removing allergens and everything, it's fantastic. A Healthier Living installation has been approved by doctors. It's one of the biggest things you'll ever see in flooring as far as your comfort in your home. We try to make sure that we offer things that no one else can give you. Bachmeyer Carpet One in Coralville, 3402 Merchant Street, across from Tyson's.
Hi, Terry.
Hi, Captain Steve. I'm Terry Larson, co-owner of Canterbury BP Amico, right by the Canterbury Inn. We're the gas station in between the Deli Mart BP and Come and Go gas stations on 1st Avenue in Coralville. People, drive past the others and check out our station. My husband, Steve, tries hard to be competitive on his gasoline prices.
Why do you say gasoline prices instead of gas prices?
Well, Captain Steve, my husband may have gas, but he's not selling that. He's selling gasoline.
Okay. Say goodbye, Terry.
Goodbye, Terry.
The Bread Garden Market remains open to serve you every day from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. The Bread Garden Market offers a full-service grocery with bread, wine, produce, protein, and tons more. The traditional lunch bar includes prepackaged hot and cold grab-and-go meals and prepackaged salads with convenient curbside pickup. They also offer free home delivery with a $30 minimum in Iowa City and Coralville, Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. till 6 p.m. The Bread Garden is open and sanitizing like crazy. Call 354-4246. That's 354-4246.
From the Harty and Stalker Studios in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Harty and Stalker Jewelers, making memories, making moments.
Here is your KCJJ forecast. We have some rain on the way today into tonight. We could get a quarter-inch or more of rain here through about midnight tonight. Today, cloudy, rain likely. We'll get to 55 for a high this afternoon. The wind south becoming northwest at 5 to 15. Tonight, rain this evening, then clearing late tonight. We'll drop down to 31, and then tomorrow, sunshine, high of 54 on Sunday. Mostly sunny, 61 Monday. Scattered showers and thunderstorms with a high near 70. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Currently, it's 54.
Weather brought to you by the Westport Touchless Auto Washes at Walmart in Iowa City, Coralville's High V. AllHawkeyes.com brought to you by Steve Anderson, Hawkeye Title and Settlement. Mike's Lock and E-Keys for cars. GT Car and his crew at Supple Siding and Remodeling. Hawkeye Courier Express. Big Dog Satellite, Internet and Solar. Don't call an 800 number. Call local. Call Kevin and his crew at Big Dog at 338-6600. Also brought to you by A.J. Perez and everyone at Deary Brothers Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. They'll even bring the car out to you. You don't even have to go in. Go to their website, see what you want, or maybe you need your car repaired. They'll come out, they'll get it, they'll return it to you. Anything that it takes, they will do that. Also brought to you by Harty and Stocker, 101 South Dubuque Street, downtown Iowa City. Go to their website, see something you like, they'll do the same. They'll bring it out to you. So people doing what they got to do to keep it going.
Yeah, that's right.
Here from allhawkeyes.com is Pat Harty.
Thanks, Captain Steve. Morning, Pat.
Good morning.
Well, you're not on because I am a moron. Good morning, Pat.
Am I on now?
Yes.
Yeah. Are we taping?
Yes.
All right.
We're taping.
We're not technically taping, per se.
Yeah.
We're recording.
We are recording.
And thanks to all of our sponsors for
Yes.
sticking with us during these tough times and trying our best to give interesting shows. I just reminded Epi to call in at the 1630 number, and that's the number Kirk is going to be calling in at 1040. Everything's set. I mean, I guess something could change, but as of now, everything's a go. And next Wednesday, we're going to have Renee Gillespie, and we'll have the softball coach. We'll have the volleyball coach. We're going to have them on next Wednesday.
Good.
So they can kind of update fans on how. And then I'm working on getting Joey Woody on possibly for Monday, and then could have a real special show on Friday. I'm just not at liberty to say yet. Nothing's been finalized, but if we can get it to work out, it'll be fun next Friday.
Cool.
A lot of fun. So we'll see. And yes, Mike Gatens is helping to arrange that one too. So we'll just kind of. Gatens basically says he's carrying us from Arizona, and he wants a check, Captain.
Yeah.
Well,
Good
luck, bud.
I told him it's in the mail.
Yeah.
It's sure.
Along with our loads.
Yep. But no. But yeah, I mean, like I said, just trying to give fans something to do, something to listen to.
Well, that's it. And, it's hard because there's nothing happening.
And we had a teleconference with Kirk, so you guys feel free to ask whatever you want today. I don't have to hog the conversation. I'd like to talk to him more on a personal front. I mean, we asked him a lot of football questions. The problem with football questions, he doesn't know. He doesn't.
No. Well, that's the thing. Everything is completely up in the air, sports-wise, just because we don't know when this thing's going to start leveling off before you can start making any kind of plan.
A story was released yesterday. I guess some ADs met, and there's different scenarios. Like one's doing a 9-game conference schedule that would start in October. Another one has them starting in like January or February and playing, February and playing through May, and what have you. And I'll be interested to see if Kirk likes any of those ideas. And then I saw Nick Saban came out and said that he doesn't think fall practice should be made any longer. He thinks if they can, they should have instructional camps during the summer, because he thinks just making fall camp longer that leads to more injuries, and he thinks there needs to be some type of workouts without pads and stuff during the summer. So I'm just kind of curious to see if Kirk favors any of these ideas anymore. I'm kind of curious to see what Kirk thinks. I don't know if we asked him about this, what it would be like. I don't see a scenario in which games are going to be played in empty stadiums, because if the games are being played in empty stadiums, that means they're still telling people to stay away. So then how can the players and coaches be together? What's good for everybody needs to be good for everybody. I mean, the only way
I can see that working is you've been around the same people all the time, and as long as they distance from everybody else, you have a contained ecosystem.
You're asking thousands of people to do. I don't see how that's practical.
Well, it might not be.
I just don't see how that's practical, especially if you're doing classes online and what have you. But then just these teams are going to be asked to come together, and I don't know. I just don't. If the stadiums are still empty in September, to me, that's going to make it hard to play games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just is. So we'll see. I mean, it's still too early. We're still really early in this thing, and we don't know where it's going to go. The NFL draft is in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
And it's on. It's as far as I know, it's on, isn't it?
They're still planning, but when do they start their camps? Don't they start them in June?
June and July. I mean, they're not going to be able to do that.
I wouldn't think so.
No, not in June.
Not in June. I don't see that happening in June, because we just don't know where this thing. I mean, we know, unfortunately, kind of where it's heading right now, but we don't know where it'll be in June. So it's just there's so much uncertainty from the sports standpoint, but we didn't get a chance to ask Kirk the other day about how this is impacting him as a husband, a father, a grandfather. That's kind of, I mean.
Oh, I think Mary's probably had it with him.
Well, you can.
I will.
Well, you can joke.
I mean, seriously, I can. Just for me, as a grandfather, I miss my grandkids. I miss my kid and my daughter-in-law. It's just, hello.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good.
Just for little information, Kirk was on WMT earlier this morning, and said pretty much middle of June, if they could get back, it'd take 6 to 8 weeks, bare minimum, to be ready to play.
Yeah, he said 4 weeks to a month on Wednesday. So I mean, roughly around a month. That's just getting him conditioned to start practicing with pads. That's what he meant when he talked on Wednesday. Yeah,
6 to 8 weeks, bare minimum, before they could play a game against Michigan State or whoever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, and by June I don't see that happening. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's kind of what that was his time frame also. Middle of June, and he was optimistic though, which is good.
Well, you need to be. We all need to be.
Yeah, he was optimistic. Oh, yeah. He wasn't overly optimistic on Wednesday when he met with the media or had a teleconference. I mean, he was more. I mean, he was optimistic, but he didn't say.
Well, Kirk's a realistic guy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he doesn't know.
No,
he doesn't know. He's guessing just like the rest of us.
Yeah. Well, I won't go into it any farther. You guys can visit with him when you get him on your show.
All right.
But he talked in detail on Wednesday about how they would need 4 weeks to a month just to condition to get ready to start practicing aggressive tackling football. That's just the conditioning part. Then you need 3 or 4 weeks of preparation as a football team. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good show. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, today I don't know if I'm more optimistic today because it's Friday. Yesterday I was just taking the plane into the dirt.
Yeah. I'm kind of staying the same. I'm just trying to stay consistent, not assume anything good or bad at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, because everything's up in the air.
This is so fluid. I mean,
it is.
It is. You know, now it wouldn't surprise me if in a couple of weeks we're in here wearing masks.
Well,
I think that's the next step.
I was at senior hour at Hy-Vee this morning briefly, and there's a lot of masks are starting to pop up.
Mm-hmm. Jan was going to make, I don't know how she's making it out of material, but
I got checked out at Hy-Vee, and the gal's mask had a big smile on it. It was pretty cool.
I think that's going to be the next thing because they're saying in New York and L.A. they may start. Or the problem is, what do we make our own?
Yeah.
Would I just put a scarf around? I don't have a mask.
Yeah.
Why should I have a mask?
Do you have a bandana or a scarf?
No, I have a scarf.
Well,
but why should I have?
Scarf.
Well, I heard doctors say yesterday those won't work.
Yeah.
They're just not designed for that stuff. The virus will seep through them. So, why should I get a mask before somebody on the front line?
Agreed.
And they don't have enough masks for those
people.
Well,
you shouldn't get those. You should get a solid piece of material, cloth, like a bandana, and just.
But I heard doctors saying yesterday that they don't work.
Well,
I'm just going by what the doctors say.
Okay, when I was going by, Fauci said it would stop your spraying.
But I also heard him say that it's not foolproof because it could seep through because those things aren't designed to stop viruses like medical masks are.
Well, you can't get medical masks.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So, I mean, if they tell me to wear a scarf or something, I will. I mean, eventually that's what because now they're saying it was way more contagious that you can get it just from talking and breathing next to somebody. I heard Fauci even say that. They didn't think that was the case 3 weeks ago.
You can wear the KCJJ hoodie and cut 2 holes in the eyes and put it on backwards.
Yeah.
Could. So what if they tell you, Steve, to wear brown panties? Are you going to do it?
No. Honest to God. I don't know what to. I mean, I don't go anywhere. I come here and I go home. I haven't gone anywhere.
I'm just happy there was somebody at WMT to interview Kurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I didn't think
was he live or was it from the press conference?
I imagine it was
no,
live.
I imagine it was live, unless they may have just been. No, I'm sure it was live. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I'm surprised too because they just furloughed people all over the freaking country.
Yeah, so they must have had somebody there to interview.
Yeah,
must have.
Well, you can't run this thing on
nobody.
Nobody. You have to have. Hello.
Yeah, they have that Doug guy on there every morning from 5 to 10 or whatever. I don't know his last name.
Yeah, I'm not.
What's his name? Doug?
Yeah.
Doug in the morning?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know who he is, Steve?
Yeah, he's a jerk.
Is his name Doug?
Yes. He is a jerk.
Yeah,
I had to unfriend him.
I don't know who he is.
I did. I had to unfriend the guy. Guy wants to argue. He's, to the right, which I am not.
Yeah.
And then he wants to. I post something on my. Hey, my dog.
Remember, we got to keep this line open.
Yeah, my dog went.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks for calling.
For the call.
My dog went to bed last night, and he did something, and he'll go, "Yeah, you're probably going to blame it on Trump." Yeah, I just had to let him go.
Yeah,
but I'm glad he's got a job.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, because a bunch of companies let furloughed or fired.
Well, it isn't just radio stations.
No, it's
everybody.
It's everybody.
Epi just responded. Awesome. Looking forward to it. So I just told him to call in at 358-1630.
Okay.
Like I said, I have no idea how this is going to go. We're just going to kind of wing it. And sounds like everybody in his family but his daughter will be around. And we can talk to, you guys can talk to Stephanie about tailgating. Whatever we want to do. I'm just kind of curious to know kind of what AJ is doing to stay in shape. What Eric's doing to get it to stay in shape to come. I assume that, there's a lot that they can do at home. My guess is they probably have some weights and what have you. But everyone's got to be creative right now.
Yeah.
These are strange times. And like Kirk said, he kind of compared this on Wednesday to in the 80s when players would go home for the summer and work out on their own. The difference is they would go to their high schools or they would go to fitness.
And they can't do that.
They can't do that because they're all closed.
Yeah.
That's what's really strange about this is nothing's open. When I was in college in the 80s, late 80s, I remember players who played it. They'd come home and they'd be home all summer. Mm-hmm. And they'd do all their stuff at home, and they'd communicate with Iowa City what they were doing. But now, none of that's even available. There's no places to work out publicly right now.
Yep.
And it's just a strange dynamic right now. And
I know what I'm doing to stay in my shape.
What's that?
Potato chips.
I had some potato chips yesterday.
Remember the song, Steve? It's a strange, strange world.
Yeah, Master Jack.
Uh-huh.
For Jackson and Jill.
I had a little frozen pizza, one of those home run in little individual ones.
Good?
Yeah, it's good, but a tiny thing. It's got like 700 calories and 40 grams of fat. And this thing, it's like one big slice of pizza.
Yeah.
I love home run in pizza though. It's that and Mama Basso's are their favorite. And then today I can't eat meat. Someone called in last week and said we got dispensation up here, but my sister-in-law, who's really religious, said there's none. But we'll talk about.
There's no dispensation.
No
dispensation.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
Is this Epi?
This is Epi online.
How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, we're hanging in there, Epi. These are real strange times, as you know, and we really appreciate you talking with us. I know fans will really enjoy this. And just first of all, how are you and your family doing, and what are you guys doing to pass the time under these strange times?
We are doing good. We're just staying in the house and go outside the house for a little run and hang out outside, play some basketball, and boys got to work out together and hang out and get to see my father-in-law down the street and try to spend as much time with my family, as we can. And of course, we're in a positive way of the whole thing going on. We get to have AJ home,
Mm-hmm.
and then his brothers and his mom are enjoying having him home, and of course, I'm loving having him home.
So what kind of equipment do you have for the boys to work out on?
The boys are working out on the street, and we have a private gym for these guys to work out at, and then they just go there by themselves and then come do a lot of running on the street.
Awesome.
Epi, this is one of these moments where, you really, obviously you always appreciate family, but just talk about the strength of family to help you guys get through this stuff, because I know it helps me, and just this, family. Nothing's more important than family.
Yeah, I mean, nothing more than family. And then for the faith in God and then help us through, whatever's going on, this pandemic going on in this world, and try to make sure everybody, believe in him and trust in each other and try to make sure we're doing the right thing.
Because if this was normal circumstances, AJ probably wouldn't be at home right now. I mean, where would he'd be? I mean, where would he be right now if none of this was going on?
Well, AJ will probably still be in Iowa City training and probably traveling all over the country, visiting all the teams that interesting in him. And then, but instead, he's at home hanging out with his mom and his brothers and me, and then doing his own thing. He's been busy, getting up early in the morning and work out, and then at the same time he's working out with his brother is something positive for us, and then it's good for my younger boys, and then it's good for us just to see them, work that out.
Well, Kirk was talking. We had a teleconference with Kirk on Wednesday, and he talked about how some of the players have talked about how they miss all the vegetables and stuff they get from the Iowa training table. But I guess the nice thing with you guys is you and Stephanie can kind of control what AJ's eating. I mean, you guys can have good diets when you're together at home and what have you. I mean, how much are you guys emphasizing nutrition, or do you even have to emphasize? AJ's so dedicated to nutrition, just the eating part of it. I mean, I assume you guys are producing really good meals for him on a daily basis.
Oh, that's no doubt. You know that, Pat. We love cooking, we love eating, we love baking. So everything that we do. But AJ is very disciplined in his diet. This is from his training, and he's doing whatever best for AJ right now. And then at the same time, he's trying to let his brothers learn, his ways of training, which is awesome. And then, of course, his mom is baking, some goodies, and we're trying to do the best we can to accommodate the boys while we're staying in the house with ourselves, with some cards and some games and some competition going on. So, we're doing good in that area. No doubt about it.
Well, I'm going to send out a plug for Patrick Eads. I saw AJ tweeted that nice new pickup truck, and wasn't Patrick just in here a while ago? He's a big supporter of the radio station. It looks like AJ got a really neat pickup truck, and just talk about Patrick Eads and just all the nice people that you guys have met here in Iowa City.
Yeah, actually, Pat, I have my whole crew with me. We're sitting in the living room, missing my daughter's not here, but I have AJ here, and I have my wife, Stephanie, my son, Eric, my son, Yose. You can call him Yo.
Okay.
And then, of course, AJ's sitting in the circle with us in our living room talking to you.
Okay. Tom, do you?
Yeah, this is for Stephanie now. My name's Tom Suter, and we have been tailgating with you guys for 3 years now. Are you guys ever going to be coming back for tailgates, or is that
they got Eric done? They got Eric.
Well, that's right.
I mean, they get
so you got a tailgate, don't you?
Yeah, we have another one coming up there this fall, so we'll continue to tailgate.
All right.
And Tom, talk about the experiences you have tailgating. I mean,
it's just so much fun. We've done probably 50 hoosasas with all y'all. And we have so much fun, and one of my favorite parts of the tailgate is when Epi and his friends put on the music and sing along with it. It is so much fun. Can't wait to do it again this fall.
Yes, we have a good time. It's hard when we have a high schooler and we're running from Friday night football up there to Saturday morning games like we did this year at 11, but we make it work. We love the Hawkeye games.
I mean, what's this been like for you, Stephanie? I mean, you're the mother of the house and everything. I mean, obviously this has been tough, but I mean, obviously having the family there together, that's got to be in some ways rewarding too, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and we love Iowa. Epi played there, and I remember going to his games when we were in college. Mm-hmm. So it's just tradition. We would have liked to gone more when the kids were younger, but it's hard when you have 4 kids to try and tag them all up to Iowa City. But it's just part of our life, and it's a big part, and we love it.
Did you meet Epi in college, if you mind me asking?
Yeah, we both went to Iowa Wesleyan there for a while, so that's where I met him.
Okay.
In Mount Pleasant.
And just the way his decision to transfer from Iowa Wesleyan to Iowa, it's amazing how that kind of, nothing against Iowa Wesleyan, it's a great school too, and but just how that kind of changed the course of your guys' lives, just coming up here to play for Hayden Fry. One thing I wanted to do is, I know Epi, we haven't talked to Epi or any of you guys since Hayden Fry's passing, and I wanted to also send a shout-out to Ryan Driscoll, because I know you guys go out of your way to keep his memory alive, and either one could. Epi, just talk about Coach Fry and Ryan, what those guys meant to you, and I know you always are sending out tributes to Ryan Driscoll, and just talk about the friendships and whatever that you met and how those have helped you. I mean, and it's just a big part of who you are now.
Yeah, Hayden Fry, of course. You know, he gave me a chance to come to Iowa. The opportunity that he opened up the doors for the University of Iowa Hawkeye football to let somebody that he didn't even know to walk on in there and prove myself to him and his staff that I can play the game of football. And then, of course, you know, Brother Driscoll is probably the first teammate that reach out and then try to help me out and offer me to a lot of things to trying to make it easy for an island boy to come to Iowa and try to survive, you know, without a car, without anybody I know. And then Driscoll is probably the first person, you know, to help me out. And then he actually got me in to live with him at there's a place over there right across from the stadium, Olive Court Street there. We have a place called The Pit, which is myself, Ryan Driscoll, Ian Davis, Jared DeFries, and then we have Jason Simon and all those, Casey Wigman.
Wow.
All those guys live in that house. But the reason why I joined that crew is because of Ryan Driscoll.
Yeah, I mean,
he actually the guy who took me to the grocery store. He's done so much for me, and that's no doubt. That's the reason why I wear his jersey all ages year up in Iowa City, just to let him know I know he's watching me.
Yep.
And just to let him know that I'm still thinking of him.
I think that's so cool, and that's what this is all about. I mean, that's what college football is about. And can we talk? I mean, we're going to talk to AJ, of course, but can we talk to Eric real quick? I have not spoken to Eric since. Well, I've never spoken to Eric, but since he committed to Iowa, could you get him on for just? We just want to have a couple of questions for him.
Go ahead, Eric's on.
Eric, hey, this is Pat Harty here in Iowa City. How you doing?
I'm good.
Well, just first of all, congratulations on your decision to be a Hawkeye. And can you kind of talk about what went into that? And obviously, your father and your older brother's connection here, that was a big influence. But it probably took more than that. What is it about Iowa that you feel is the reason, the best place for you to go?
Thank you. I really enjoyed everything about Iowa, and they had a lot to offer. Their weight room and, like, just the type of play is how I want to be. So it was kind of an obvious choice, but I definitely took some thinking to make sure I was 100% in and wanted to go there.
So, Eric, have they given you, have the coaches given you a workout schedule for this summer to get you a little more up to speed when you come to campus?
Yeah, a while back I asked them to send me one, and so I got a big packet of stuff that I could be doing right now.
And Eric, you've played so many different positions you can kick. What are you looking at where do you think you project? I mean, you've done so many different things in high school on the football field.
I think I'm going to come out as a snapper and linebacker. Those are the two that are kind of like my main positions that I think I excel the most in. And
what other positions did you play in high school, though? It seems like you've played about everywhere.
Well, I broke my hand in my senior season, so I couldn't play receiver anymore. But then I started kicking, and then so I kicked off, and I kicked field goals, and then I was a linebacker, and I couldn't snap anymore. I broke my thumb, so that's how I ended up kicking.
And is there any main advice that AJ's given you about coming here? I mean, is there any, or just what kind of guidance has he given you just on how to come here and get the best out of what Iowa has to offer?
I mean, we go and work out all the time together now, and so, like, I kind of get what it's going to be like, but I'm sure it's going to be different when I get there. But he's just telling me that it's going to be hard and I'm probably going to struggle, but you just got to work through that stuff and handle it yourself, and you'll get used to it.
And is it one of those things where anything worth having is not easy? It seems like, I mean, we're all taught that anything that's really good in the long run, you got to work for it. And is that kind of where it is? And I assume that's what you know. Anything that's very valuable, you got to work for it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And what's it like having him around? I know these are not the circumstances you got. None of us want to be in these circumstances, but is it kind of neat having your big brother around right now? Because he would be in Iowa City, but now you got him around every day. What's that like?
I mean, it's awesome. I don't normally get to see him, and it's been a while since we've hung out for long periods of time, so it's great to see him every day, even though he's leaving today.
Oh, he is leaving? He is. So what would you be doing spring sports right now? How has this changed the end of your high school career?
This is I would be playing volleyball right now.
Okay.
And school, obviously, but since this thing is going on, we haven't been to school in a little over a month now, and then volleyball is just totally canceled as of right now, but hopefully next month we'll get up and running once again.
How much do you just miss school? I mean, obviously, at some point you probably take school for granted, but now that you don't have it, I'm sure, how weird is it not being around your friends?
I knew I was going to miss them, but, I miss them a lot more now that I'm not going to see them every single day.
So are you doing any, FaceTiming or anything with your friends?
Yeah, so I'll FaceTime and talk to them and text them and stuff like that, but I think the best time is whenever we play video games together, so then, we're actually interacting and able to do stuff to try to accomplish goals together.
Well, that's cool. And, hey,
cool.
Good luck with everything, Eric. We look forward to covering you when you get here. And sooner or later, we're going to get normalcy back in our life. We're going to beat this thing, and appreciate you giving us some time. And would you mind handing the phone over to Big Brother so we can ask him a couple questions?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Eric. Good luck.
Hello?
AJ, hey, it's Pat. How you doing?
How's it going?
It's going. How's it? Obviously this has been really strange for you. I mean, you're leaving today. Where are you heading off to today?
Oh, I'm just heading back to Iowa City for a couple days. I was planning on packing up some more things for my house because it's not looking like I'm going to be spending much more time in Iowa City.
And how strange is that? I mean, just how strange has these last 3-4 weeks been for you?
It's been different. I wouldn't necessarily say it's been strange.
Okay, different.
Other than the pandemic side of it, obviously, but just spending time outside of Iowa City, it's been different. Just because I've been spending majority of my last 3 years there, and so now that I've been home for 3 weeks, it's really been the longest time I've had at home. I've never had this much time at home, but it's been a good different, and we're just excited to see what the future holds.
So has it complicated things? I don't know if that's the right word with the NFL stuff. Obviously, you haven't been able to have as much interaction. How has it impacted that process of getting ready for the draft? Because the draft is still going to happen.
Yeah, it's the train don't stop, and I'm really just kind of focusing on being able to keep lifting and to keep running and trying to stay in shape. And it's really just basically become kind of easier just to talk to these coaches because it's just all FaceTime. So it's just really, for me, sitting at a desk here at home or just at the table, just really making time and scheduling different phone calls to have those normally in-person interviews now just over the phone or over the Zoom, Skype, whatever they want to use. And it's all virtual and just over computers now.
Yeah, we were talking to Kirk on Wednesday, and he had never heard of Zoom until about 2 weeks ago, and now that's all he's doing. And it was kind of funny listening to Kirk talk about doing Zoom. That just shows you how things have changed so quickly in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been real different.
Now, I saw you tweet something out that your new pickup truck from Patrick E. Did you ever just go in and go in for a ride? You can still go out for a ride in that thing. How nice is that thing, having that pickup truck from Patrick?
Oh, it's amazing. I'm very, very thankful for Patrick and all those people over at Deary Ford Brothers for hooking me up and just giving me the opportunity to represent their dealership And the truck's been nothing short of amazing for me. I've been able to do anything I really needed, helping people out, help people move myself. And I've always wanted a truck, and so it's really just kind of let me get started, get my feet running with one, and so it's been really awesome.
AJ, let's take it back about a month or so, 6 weeks or so. When you were making your decision whether to come back for your senior season or whether to move on with to the next part of your life, can you take us through that process a little bit and how difficult it was for you to reach your decision?
It wasn't an easy decision by any means. Coach Ferentz made it very clear from the beginning that it was going to be my decision, and he made me feel very comfortable doing it. He told me that I put myself in this position, and I've given myself the opportunity to make the decision whether to stay or go, and whatever I decide, Coach Ferentz and the staff will support me no matter what, and that's what they did. And so I'm very blessed to have a coach as amazing as Coach Ferentz, and the rest of the coaching staff still be there and support me. It was a tough decision, but I think it was the right decision.
Talk about how Coach Doyle has gotten you to this point. I mean, we hear so many Iowa players talk about just the day-to-day grind under Coach Doyle, and how just talk about the influence he's had over you over these last 3 years.
Yeah, Coach Doyle is obviously the best in the business, and he knows what he's doing, and I mean he just brings the intensity every single day. Like, we're never lacking. We're always there, always bringing the energy, and I think that's probably the key part of why he's known for having such strong players and changing players into or changing nobodies into Big Ten football players, and that's what he's known for, because he just brings that juice every single day that gets people wanting to go into the weight room, gets them ready to get bigger, get faster, get stronger. And for me personally, he's just been he just lights a fire in you and just makes you want to keep going every single day. And Coach Doyle's the best. And like I said, very blessed to have coaches like I did at Iowa.
Assuming the season's going to be played next fall, Chauncey Golston, I mean, he's coming back. Do you expect a big senior season from Chauncey? Because, I mean, he kind of played in your shadow for a while, but you can see that he seems to be emerging, maybe one to be the next star players to come out of Iowa.
Yeah, Chauncey's always been a very good player, and I would never say I overshadowed Chauncey just because he plays hard. He always gets after the ball, and he's always making plays. He might not make the strip sack on the scene, but he's the one who picks up the fumble and makes it and takes it back, or he's the one who makes that TFL, or he makes that shoelace tackle or that big tackle at the line of scrimmage. And Chauncey does everything you need him to do, and he's a very reliable teammate. That's probably the best part about him, is that no matter what he says or what he's doing, he always gets his job done, and he always does it with all of his effort. And he's a great guy, and he's a great teammate, and he's a great football player, and he's going to go off next year.
So what did it mean to have your little brother want to continue the legacy at Iowa? Obviously, you let him make his own decision, but you're happy to just talk about Eric's decision to be a Hawkeye.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very happy for him, very proud of him for what he's been doing, and I'm looking forward to be able to see another Epenesa in the black and gold, and it's going to be fun. I mean, it gives you a reason to go back to Iowa City, and I know my parents are excited to continue going to the games, and I know Eric's excited to get after it, and it'll be it's going to be a challenge just like it is for every freshman to get into the program and to become accustomed to it. And I just know he's looking forward to start the work and get going.
And I know you've got a younger brother. You've talked to us before. You say he's even bigger than you were at that age. I mean, your younger brother, what is he, 13?
Yeah, Yosei is 13 now. He's in 7th grade.
And tell us a little bit about him, and if he wants to get on.
Well, Yo's there.
Yeah, he's there. If he wants to talk, and we'd love to have Yosh on too. If you want, give him the phone. And AJ, hey, good luck with everything. And I wanted to ask you, did you grow up cheering for any particular NFL team? I mean, where you live there in Southern Illinois, did you have a favorite team growing up?
Yeah, growing up, my favorite team was the Baltimore Ravens. I was a huge Ray Lewis fan. Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, Haloti Ngata. I mean, I can name all the guys on defense. They were my favorite group and my favorite team by a lot when I was young.
Well, they play defense the way you play defense. That makes total sense. So if your younger brother wants to talk, we'd love to hear from him if you want to give him the phone.
Yeah, here's the big guy.
All right.
Yo.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing, Yoshi? How is things going? How's it having your big brother around all this time?
It's pretty cool.
Now what
AJ around.
You play all what sports do you play?
I do track. I play baseball. Not baseball, but basketball and football.
What position do you play in football?
DN and tight end.
Okay, so obviously your brothers are just talk about the influence both of your brothers have on you. You've got actually with your dad and your mom, you got so much leadership there. How does that help you every day just to stay focused and try to achieve your goals?
It helps me learn from them. They help me learn, and they're always there to help me.
And I assume you do the tailgating too. You come to Iowa City, you tailgate with your parents, don't you?
Yeah.
Tom, do you want to?
Yo behaves though. He behaves a lot better than the rest of us.
So, what would you normally be doing right now? What sports would you be doing this spring if things were normal?
I'd be doing track right now.
You'd be doing track. And what's it like? Is it tough not being around your friends?
I mean, it's not tough, but it's just.
Well, it helps having your family around, right? I mean, obviously this is where I saw you guys did a video the other day where you were all kind of dancing in the kitchen. I thought that thing was so cool. Just having your family around, having your mom and dad there, that helps you get. These are strange times, and that helps you get through this stuff.
Yes.
So, are you bigger than AJ was at this age? Because AJ told us that you were bigger than him.
I don't know if I was bigger than him, but we might be the same.
Okay.
So how tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
Okay. And do you have a favorite sport right now? Can we assume football is your favorite sport, or is it too early?
I don't have a favorite sport, but basketball and football are my favorites.
Okay. Well, listen, you got a lot of time. We're going to get through this thing, and you got a lot of time to prepare. If you want to hand the phone back to Epi, we'll just kind of make the rounds. And Yoshi, it was nice to meet you. Good luck with everything, and just embrace your family, man, because they're going to help. That's the most important thing to get through something like this.
All right. Thank you
You
for
bet.
having me.
Thanks,
Joe.
What's up, guys?
Epi,
How's it going?
Is this Epi again?
Epi's on there.
Okay. Epi, your family, you guys are, this has been so fun just talking. What do you guys have planned for today? Do you plan your days out, or you just kind of take it moment by moment?
We got moment by moment, and at the same time we have plans from Mom. Mom's got a lot of chores for the boys, of course, a lot of cleaning, and then we are fixing the basement, so we're trying to go down there, and then Mom's can do everything, man. She's a badass.
Well, and Epi, you're still working, right? You're still going to work 5 days a week, right?
Yeah, I'm still working, and Mom's still working. Mom works for Boeing, and they closed down Boeing, and then she works from home. And we still working at Southwest Airlines, and then it's never stop over there. So we're still going on. It's slow time for Southwest right now, but it's still flying. Still have people flying. We got a lot of procedures that we got to go through with a lot of people, but it's been blessing that it's still going on right now.
Well, we're going to get through this, and Epi, people like you and your wife still doing these essential jobs that we need. That's how we're going to get through this. Every time I go to the grocery store now, I just admire the people that are out there working. I sit at home, but just talk about, there's a lot of people still out there working that don't have the luxury of isolating at home all the time, and just talk about the respect and admiration for the people out there, the doctors, the nurses, the truck drivers. There's so many brave people out there making this country still go.
Absolutely. Those people are heroes, and then you all know that.
Yep.
Those are the heroes of this country. They're trying to make sure all the families are taken care of, all the family have been served into to survive in this pandemic. And then, of course, we just sit and pray for those people and pray for our country and make sure that we can survive this.
Well, listen, Tom, you got anything else?
No, just how much we have appreciated you and your family over the years, and Epi, you're one of the great Hawks, and love your family. Thanks so much for spending time with us.
And I'll tell you what, Epi, just from the way A.J. conducted himself for 3 years at Iowa, you and Stephanie have a lot to be proud about off the football field, too, because I don't think I ever heard the kid ever say anything that would be close to bragging. He just seems like he gets it. He understands it, and I assume Eric's the same way, and Yoshi. And that's you and Stephanie. You guys deserve a lot of credit for raising your kids the right way.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate that. Yosef just told me to tell you we usually make fun of that because most of our friends in Iowa call him Yoshi too, but it's Yosef.
Yosef.
Yosay.
Okay, well,
that's the pronunciation of Yosef's name.
Yosef. Okay, well, I got
We're
there.
laughing over here because you keep saying Yoshi.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
That's why I went with Yo.
Yo, and
it's
tell
okay
Yo.
because he's half Chinese, man. Hey, Yoshi sounds great.
Well, no, Yosei, I will remember that, and who knows, maybe someday we'll be covering him as a Hawkeye. I know Iowa fans would love that. But, again, much respect to you and your family. Thanks, Stephanie, AJ, Yosei, and Eric for coming on. I think Iowa fans probably enjoyed this. We had you on for a half an hour, and it went like that. But God bless all you guys, and stay safe.
Thank you.
Okay.
You guys have a great one. Go Hawks.
All right,
Go Hawks.
thanks.
Hoosasa.
Hit him in the head with the
Hoosasa.
Hoosasa. Man, Leal over there in Muscatine for the Hoosasa. Thank you, guys.
All right, Happy. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. I mean, what a
We
family.
should have done a Hoosasa.
Those are neat.
Yeah.
And I was calling him Yoshi, and they were just laughing at me in the background. They were making fun of me.
Making fun of you.
And, there's a lot of times where I deserve to be made fun of. Hell, I make fun of myself a lot. If you can't laugh at yourself, then you've got problems. And I grew up in a very snarky, sarcastic family. I was the youngest one, and I was mentally abused.
I can't help but compare and contrast. Okay, Yo in 7th grade is 6'2", and what, 190 probably?
Oh, I've seen pictures of it. I'm telling you, AJ's the one who said, he goes, you guys rave about how, he goes, I got a younger brother that's bigger than I was at this age and what have you, so we'll see. And Eric plays volleyball, track, and all the stuff he does. It's going to be interesting to see how things work out for Eric here because he's got so many different options. He could be a kicker. I mean, we don't know how big he's going to get when Doyle gets him here. It's going to be interesting.
Well, and when I was in 7th grade, I weighed 67 pounds, not kidding, and I wrestled for at the 70-pound weight class.
See, you would have befriended somebody like Yosei and then talked crap to other people behind with him there, right?
Actually, I got very fortunate with that. I was a bunch of jocks for some reason liked me. So
sympathy.
Well, you beat up McCarney.
You beat up McCarney.
Well, maybe that was it.
Yeah.
You beat up Dan McCarney, and that was your.
The legend continues.
Remember? Didn't we ask him about that?
Yeah,
we did.
Well, I can't remember what he did.
He said he didn't remember.
Well, he said there's a lot of people that wanted to beat me up.
But when did the tide turn in that battle?
About halfway down the Hoover School hill.
Okay, but what grade was in when you had your way with him?
I think it was 2nd or 3rd grade.
What happens in 6th grade?
He would have beaten me within the inch of my life.
So he grew a lot more than you did.
Yes. Well, I just told you I was 67 pounds.
But you're not small.
When
you're 6 feet tall, aren't you?
Yeah.
When did you find? Did you
between my basically my junior year, the summer between junior and senior.
Okay.
And then I grew a lot.
Think about how weird that's got to be for AJ, though. Normally he'd be in Iowa City training with Doyle, and it's disrupted all of that. Now it's brought him closer to his family and what have you, but this has been weird. I mean, it's just been really strange for everybody. But like he did say, in some ways it's been easier because he's been able to have all these FaceTime conversations with NFL. He hasn't had to do as much traveling. It's kind of come to him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, but no, that was a lot of fun, and I really appreciate Epi helping us do that, and it was nice to finally hear from Stephanie because I've heard so many good things about her.
No, she is one of the...
She's just really nice.
Just down-to-earth, wonderfully nice person.
And you don't raise kids like that without having good parents. I mean, AJ never, you saw when I said the word that he overshadowed Chauncey Golston?
Yeah.
No, he right away said, no, I didn't overshadow him. And Some ways he did, but the fact that he doesn't want to acknowledge that is pretty cool. It's always team first. And like I've written before, he's the only 5-star recruit that's ever been a reserve at Iowa for 2 years and not had any. Now, there's sure was probably times when he wished he would have maybe played, but he never let it become a distraction. He always knew team came first, and it worked out for him. You know, I mean,
it'll work out in spades for him.
It really will, and he's going to be a great representative. I hope the Bears take him. I'm a Bears fan, selfishly. Now, if he goes to the Ravens, that's fine.
Bears.
And I did see the other day when he tweeted that picture of him by his truck, he was wearing a St. Louis Cardinals jersey. I'll forgive him for that as a Cubs fan, but he grew up in Southern Illinois, right not far out. So I get it. I get it. And I'll be the first to admit the Cardinals are a much better organization than the Cubs. I mean,
it has been ever thus.
It pains me to say that, but they are. They have been for years. And if you grew up in Southern Illinois, I can see why you'd be a Cardinals fan over a Cubs fan.
And I will say that the Cardinal fans are can be a pretty snotty lot sometimes.
Well, they have reason to be. Well, they have reason to be arrogant. I guarantee you, I don't see A.J. Epenesa being one of these Cardinal fans that rubs it in people's faces. But, no, you're right.
But, no, it's a great organization. There's no question about that. Maybe they and the Yankees might be.
And the Patriots. Cardinals, Yankees, Patriots, Lakers, I mean, they're all in a special group because they've been able to sustain it for so long. The names and faces change, but the winning doesn't change. And that's kind of, bring it back to Iowa football. That's kind of, we're coming off a 5-year stretch here of Iowa football where they've won 47 games. I mean, Kirk, I'm not saying he's getting better with age, but you can say in some ways the program, I mean, Kirk shows no signs of slowing down. The program, this pandemic has kind of brought things to a halt, but this program right now is thriving.
Well, the pandemic's kind of brought everything to a grinding halt.
It has. And
it's been strange.
Now, we're still producing copy. Tyler had a really interesting, he had a story on Josh Agondale yesterday.
Oh,
very interesting about he's got an uncle who's got the virus. And, I mean, it's hit home with him. And it's just, it's touching everybody. And Josh talked about Luka Garza's influence and what have you. So, yeah, read that story. Tyler posted that. That was a good story, and I appreciate Tyler doing this work for me during these tough times. And should we take a break and then?
Yeah, we could take a break. From all the news reports, Bill Withers has passed away at 81 of heart.
Not the virus?
Not the virus.
All right.
He's had
not that it makes it any
problems.
better. Well, then can we play my favorite?
No, we can't play anything.
Oh, that's right. We can't play anything because we're podcasting.
And our YouTube.
God, I get tired of all these regulations and rules and money grubbing.
The government.
Money grubbers. I mean, we should be able to play
whatever we want, whenever we want.
What's that Bill Withers song that I absolutely
Lean on Me?
No, the other one, the window on the
sunshine.
That one, Ain't No Sunshine, and then the window on the what's the other one? There's the other Bill Withers song. I see the crystal on the wind. That one. That one.
Just the two of us.
Yeah. Oh man, what was the other one you just said?
Ain't No Sunshine.
That's the one. Man, I just love that song.
Great song.
I'm going to hum it to myself during the break, and just so I don't break.
I don't think you can.
We can't even do that during the break?
No, we can't hum to ourselves. All right, we'll be right back. AllHawkeyes.com.
1630 KCJJ on all your devices through the TuneIn app. Powered by Mexico Lindo at the Iowa City Marketplace.
Here is your KCJJ forecast. We have some rain on the way today into tonight. We could get a quarter-inch or more of rain here through about midnight tonight. Today, cloudy, rain likely. We'll get to 55 for a high this afternoon. The wind south becoming northwest at 5 to 15. Tonight, rain this evening, then clearing late tonight. We'll drop down to 31. And then tomorrow, sunshine, high of 54 on Sunday. Mostly sunny, 61 Monday. Scattered showers and thunderstorms with a high near 70. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Currently, it's 54.
For a gift that your loved one will treasure for a lifetime, find it at our family-owned jewelry store in Iowa City, Harty and Stocker Jewelers.
We can show you diamond engagement rings, colored stones, fashion jewelry, and watches.
Our jewelers are on site, so we can design jewelry for that special person in your life.
We are Harty and Stocker, serving Iowa City and the surrounding area for 3 generations.
Harty and Stocker Jewelers, downtown Iowa City, and HartyandStockerJewelers.com. Ask for Willa, Terry, Tim, or Kate. One of us is always there.
Due to the governor's emergency proclamation, Harty and Stocker Jewelers is currently closed to the general public. However, they're still offering delivery and curbside pickup for online orders. Contact them with questions. Give them a call at 319-338-4212. On the web at HartyandStockerJewelers.com or email them at herteens@live.com. Harty and Stocker Jewelers wishes you all good health. Stay safe out there.
Is your vehicle worn out from whoa winter? Sprint into Dodge Street Tower today and get a free vehicle inspection from my dad, Brian Segfetz. For 25 good years, they've been your family-friendly, dependable, and honest neighborhood auto repair shop, willing to hurdle any obstacle. That's why their loyal customers have once again voted Dodge Street Tower as the best in the area. Race in a Dodge Street Tire and Auto at the corner of Dodge and Church Street.
Dodge Street Tire is temporarily suspending their Saturday hours, but remain open Monday through Friday. They're offering pickup service as well. Call 319-337-3031 or go to dst-ic.com.
Hi, this is Ryan, owner of World of Bikes, inviting you to get healthy with cycling this year. With regular biking, you will notice increased cardiovascular fitness, improved joint mobility, decreased stress levels, improved posture and coordination, strengthened bones, and decreased body fat. The benefits of cycling are endless. Stop by World of Bikes today and let our expert staff help you find the right bike. World of Bikes, 723 South Gilbert in Iowa City, serving cyclists since 1974.
Offering pickup and delivery service from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and Saturdays from 10 to 2. Call 351-8377 or go to worldofbikes.net for details.
Need to deliver anything locally? Then you need Hawkeye Courier Express. They will deliver anything as long as it's legal. Hawkeye Courier Express offers within-the-hour delivery if needed, and they're fully licensed and insured. Call Hawkeye Courier Express at 358-6302. That's 358-6302. For local delivery in Iowa City, Coralville, and North Liberty, call Hawkeye Courier Express. Reliable, dependable, and fast.
Hi, it's Carrie from Deary, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Iowa City. The governor has deemed our dealership as an essential business, and we are here, business as usual. Well, business practices that are best for these trying times. We will pick up your vehicle, get it serviced, and return it to your home or business. If you see a car you like online, we will bring it to you for a test drive. Anything to keep you safe and satisfied. Our work culture and values are guided by our commitment to customer satisfaction, and as a result, we have earned Chrysler's highest honor, the Customer First Award for Excellence. We are keeping all of our employees working so we can continue to provide the highest level of customer service possible. By giving our customers a great family experience at our dealership, we earn your trust and your loyalty. Deary Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Highway 1 in Iowa City, or visit us online at DearyIC.com.
Once upon a time in the land of the Hawkeyes, a business grew. A business that would become synonymous with real estate. Hi, I'm Steve Anderson of Hawkeye Title and Settlement. When you're buying or selling your home, you'll need title and settlement services. Consider the Hawkeye Title and Settlement team. Give us a call at 351-8600. Hawkeye Title and Settlement, the team you love, the people you trust.
Hey guys, this is Joe from Mellow Mushroom. We're still open, offering the same great food and services with a twist.
We have curbside service available. We have delivery through Chomp, Grubhub, and Mellow Mushroom online, and also Uber Eats.
Go ahead and call us at 319-625-2031.
And go to mellowmushroom.com for our full menu.
Now offering 25% off for first responders and medical personnel.
Hey everybody, it's Kevin here from Big Dog Satellite and Solar, your local TV expert, and I want to tell you about Dish TV. If technology, value, and customer satisfaction are important to you, then it's time to cut the cable cord once and for all. Upgrade your TV experience and start saving with Dish today. Drop by Big Dog Satellite and Solar on Blair's Ferry Road in front of Rockwell. Call 395-0800 or visit us on the web at BigDogSatellite.com. We are Big Dog Satellite and Solar, your locally operated and trusted satellite TV experts.
GT Carr, owner of Supple Siding and Remodeling, offers service and quality that is unmatched in the area. At Supple Siding and Remodeling, their trained professionals will install and guarantee the products used in any size job done, regardless of the project. Supple Siding and Remodeling will stand behind their quality products and installation with exceptional customer service. Whether it's a window replacement, a kitchen remodel, or a house addition, our employees are committed to quality. Visit sales at supples.net or call 337-2246.
Over the years, car keys have gotten extremely complex.
Mike's Lock and E-Keys for Cars can generate the most technically advanced automotive keys on the market today. Mike's Lock and E-Keys for Cars can produce most conventional transponder, sidewinder, and remote-headed keys. If you've lost the keys to your car or simply need a duplicate, call 330-9185. Mike's Lock and E-Keys for Cars has the technology to keep you on the road. Call 330-9185 and schedule an appointment today.
From the Harty and Stalker Studios in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Harty and Stalker Jewelers, making memories, making moments.
Allhawkeyes.com, 2 minutes away from 10 o'clock.
Just going to wave to you.
See? And now you're out of the picture again, and then
I'm not. They can see me. Why do they want to see me?
I don't know, but
I'm a clown. I'm wearing...
That's a little harsh.
I'm wearing ripped-up sweatpants, a red hand-me-down jacket. I don't know where I got it. Sunglasses. And I can't even pronounce Yosei the right way. I called him Yoshi the whole time, and I could hear them laughing at me in the background. I thought that was fun. That was fun.
Great.
That was a lot of fun.
It really was.
I just liked the fact that he had the family there waiting. And I didn't want to. We could have talked to AJ. I wanted to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
I didn't want to ask AJ about the combine. That's not that. I don't care about that stuff at this stage. Someone's going to draft him in the first round, and if they don't, they're a fool.
Well, then if they don't, then it'll be in the second round, and he'll use that as fuel to get better.
But I do think he'll get taken in the first round. I don't care how many times he bench pressed. Somebody brought it up. I think it was Rob Howe brought it up to me. AJ's last game was the Holiday Bowl against a potential first-round draft pick in the for USC, and he ate that guy up.
Yeah, he
just
did.
ate him up. He was unstoppable. He was unblockable, and whoever gets AJ is going to be good. He's not only a great player, but somebody you don't have to worry about off the field at all. No baggage whatsoever, and I'm sure Kirk will echo that when we have Kirk on. But no, that was a lot of fun. I've never met Stephanie personally. You guys have.
Uh-huh.
And AJ, or Epi, this past year, he doesn't wear AJ's jersey. He wears Ryan Driscoll's jersey.
No, he wore Ryan Driscoll's jersey the whole
season. Think about that.
Yeah.
That says a lot. That's a friend. Ryan Driscoll earned that friendship. I'm sure Epi was a little nervous when he came here. That was a big step going from growing up in, where are they from? Samoa? Or is it?
Yeah,
Samoa.
Growing up there, coming to Iowa Wesleyan, those are big steps that he took at a young age, and you need someone like a Ryan Driscoll to reach. Ryan Driscoll was from this area. He grew up a Hawkeye fan, highly recruited, and I'm sure that helped make things so much easier for Epi when he got here. And that's what you need, and that's why Epi's a friend for life.
That's what's so cool about the tailgates that we had with Bud. Is he didn't care. When somebody showed up at the tailgate, everyone was welcome, whether they were our team or not.
Mm-hmm.
And we had so many people that's kids were on the team.
Well, I've actually met some people on Twitter, the Beltons, Dane Belton.
Yeah.
I've actually met them through Twitter because of you guys tailgating.
Yeah.
And is it Danny Belton? I believe that's his father.
I think
they're
so.
part of that tailgate
Yes, they
group.
are.
Who else are some other people that you? Now, are
Moriarty?
Tyler Goodson's parents part of that?
Who?
Tyler Goodson's parents, are they part of that?
Yes.
Okay, they're part of it. It's a big group.
And the tight end,
Sam Laporta?
Yes.
Okay, I met his parents at the bowl game. It's weird meeting
and
parents.
Sam comes after the games comes to the
and
tailgate.
Sam's going to be their next star tight end.
I think
saw
you're
enough. And it's weird meeting parents now that are like,
Yeah.
What's weird is meeting parents that are like 5 and 10 years younger than me. That's when you know you're starting to get old. Epi's probably. Yeah, that's what's weird. For so many years I was always younger than the parents of players that I covered, but now I'm either their age or a little older now, and that's weird. I'm older than Epi.
And Paki O'Mara's family came for a number of years.
Mm-hmm. What a story he is. He's been all over the country.
Isn't that something?
He might be good. We could maybe think about getting him on this show at some time. But no, that was a lot of fun, and I did. And we got to plug in for Patrick Eads.
Patrick's a good. Both, everybody's just hustling their ass off to, to make it through this and to keep as many employees as they can.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that had Carrie in to cut their new commercial. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago?
Yeah.
And that was the big thing, is that they are keeping all of their employees
And the
working.
Patrick said we're keeping.
I talked to Tammy Rowe yesterday. I mean, she was sending another advertising check. She's been supporting both of my websites. I know she supports you guys and what have you. And these are strange times. We don't know what's going to happen to health insurance. I mean, some of the things that she told me were kind of scary. I mean,
yesterday, Trump said he wanted to extend Medicare to everybody that was going through this.
Sounds good to me.
And I went back on everything that they,
Bernie. Did they start chanting Bernie?
I mean, honest to God, that's what that sounds pretty good. But that's what he said yesterday. He wanted to extend it to everyone going through this, and that goes against everything they're doing in court and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but I don't know. I asked Tammy. Tammy does. She's not sure how this is going to be. One thing. My big concern is, how can they make medical insurance super, super expensive after this?
Well, I don't think they.
Do you think this will somehow lead to Medicare for medical insurance for all?
They have to change.
Something's got to change. But we're so embedded in this profit-driven industry. I mean, isn't 1/5 of our economy health insurance?
You can make.
What do you do to all
make
those
a
people?
profit?
Medical and health insurance.
You can make a profit and not make a ridiculous profit.
Yeah, I don't think someone. I'm speaking selfishly. A man in my 50s, independent contractor. I don't think I should have to pay $1,200 for health insurance. If I did, I couldn't afford it.
No, you shouldn't have to.
You shouldn't have to.
No.
And I know both sides. We're going to figure something out. I do, and I know I'm going to sound like a Pollyanna, but I do think we're going to be better in the long run for this thing. Don't you? I think we will.
Well, I hope so.
I think there's going to be a ton of suffering, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. But one thing is, I don't think we'll ever not be prepared for another pandemic. I think we're going to have the equipment, but unfortunately, we're going to have to suffer through this in order to get to that point. But I don't think we're ever going to have a pandemic completely take us by surprise again.
Sure hope not.
I sure hope not. Maybe I'm just a clown who's just wishful thinking. Because like I said, I know you joke and laugh, but we need to have 2 million hazmat suits ready for them. And people say, you realize how expensive that is? Well, how much does it cost to build a B-52 bomber? I know we need all those things.
Now that's right. Look how all the money we pump into defense, and we don't need.
Some people will say we need that because the one thing with defense, the moment China shows up in your shores attacking you and you don't have enough defense, that's a major issue too. But but at some point
we were warned about this in 2011. We were warned
Bill
about
Gates
it in
2015.
In 2015,
you saw what Bill Gates said.
Yes, we were warned about it again in 2017 when we disbanded some apparatus. No, we've been warned about this for a long time. Both administrations,
both
parties,
Democrats and Republicans, both.
We've been warned about it. We haven't done a damn thing about it, and so we were not caught by surprise. We were caught by surprise. Government's not caught.
And it didn't help that this originated in China, a country with no transparency, a country with an evil communist regime that does everything they can.
If you think we're leading the world in deaths and disease, come on.
I don't believe a number out of China.
No.
Well, last I saw, 3,500 deaths. I've read stories where they speculate between 50 and 100,000 at least.
Yeah.
But they have no transparency, and they're not going to let us know. And I blame China for a ton of this. And I guess we're going political on this, but I do. I blame.
Well, I want somebody to call in now and defend China. What do you mean? I don't know that.
I'm just saying. And I don't think by ripping China, I'm siding with the right against the left. I think the Democrats have just as many issues with China.
They don't like China.
China is a nasty government.
Here's an example. China, the left hates China because the left handles like show business and all this stuff, and they don't, they steal our stuff.
Yes,
they just steal it. This is not just a right thing. This both sides hate China.
Communism is all about keeping a small group of people in power over a large mass, and the only way you can do that is by no transparency, by brutality. And can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
There's so much that goes on in China right now that we'd be appalled by. We've got issues over here and what have you, but we're still still the best, greatest country in the world, and that's why I think we'll get through this thing. We're going to get through it at some point. I just don't know how much damage is going to be done.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
But it ain't going to be good.
Now that they're saying
it's keeping me up.
I mean, well, now they're saying that you can get it from talking. Hell, Suter and I could be killing each other right now.
You know, honest to God. And okay, the mask thing, and I don't want you guys going to New York sort of like this. The mask, yeah. The mask thing.
I'm going to see if this works, if I can talk with my face covered. Just keep talking.
You know, it's just, it's.
Okay, now I got my mouth covered with my
I have your nose covered, too.
Okay, how's that? How do I sound?
Just like,
can you hear me?
Like every Middle Eastern disc jockey there is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It may be this in a week. I will honestly say I went to Hy-Vee yesterday and I brought a scarf with me.
People will call up and go, you know,
Did you wear
sound
it? No.
funny.
I was going to wear it. I tied it around my face. I'm like, God, they're going to think I'm robbing the place. I had sunglasses and a scarf over my face.
Yeah.
You know, I could have been shot instead of dying of the virus. So I couldn't bring myself.
I was going to cross the highway and borrow some masks. But...
So I'm thinking about getting a Lone Ranger outfit, and for when I go into Hy-Vee.
Well, the mask won't go down. Hello.
Suter, I can understand everything you said there, but perhaps even clearer.
Steve Anderson said he was in. He tweeted me to tell me, because you guys must have said, Harty comes in here and he's a germaphobe. So I get up today and there's a tweet, hey, I was in your chair the other day. And I said, let me guess, you gave Suter a back rub, you licked the germ jar, and I said something and hugged Tommy. I have not heard back. But then the germ jar responded with a gif of a woman licking a man in the face. Was that you who sent that?
No.
That must have been Tommy.
Yeah, I think Tommy.
But Steve Anderson wanted me to know that he was in here spreading his filth and death. And Steve Anderson's another one, man.
He's a good guy.
Great guy.
Yeah.
And, we joke and have a lot of fun, but he supports us so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
He really does, and I really appreciate
Well, and when you're doing it with these people he's a good friend.
He's a good friend. He has a smart ass on Twitter.
Oh, I love it.
And he loves it.
Yeah, and
he
Facebook, too.
I don't do Facebook, but he loves he definitely has a role to play on Twitter, but, man, we couldn't do it without guys like Steve Anderson. We really couldn't.
No, you're right.
And it's guys like that that are going to help us get through this. I mean, and, I talked to Ryan Merkin yesterday, and almost all of our advertisers paid for
That's great.
April. I mean, think about that. And Ryan's still producing a ton of content. I mean, he's doing some really interesting things. And he told me the other day that our traffic for Your Prep Sports is actually up right now because there's nothing else to do and nobody else is writing anything. We've got pretty good traffic right now.
People watching the stream on YouTube and listening on TuneIn, it's up. I think they gave me on TuneIn, it's up 27%. And let me go to YouTube.
And I've had people, like when I go to Hy-Vee, I've had people...
YouTube, it's up 31%.
I mean, think about it. I've had a lot of people recently say, man, we really appreciate you guys doing this stuff. It gives us a nice diversion.
And it does.
And it does. It gives me a nice diversion. I mean, I can't stay in my house forever. I mean, I have no family there. I don't even have a dog right now. I mean, it'd be easier if I had my two dogs... And because dogs can't spread it, right? And we can't give it to them.
They can. Spread it.
But it's tough. I mean, that's why, like the Epenesa family, they know it. They're very fortunate. They're all together there, and that means a lot to have the. I mean, I tweeted the other day, I would love nothing more than be able to go to Des Moines and give my 90-year-old mom a hug, but I can't do that because she's in lockdown, and I understand.
I actually started talking to the dog about, hey, we applied for these, grants and stuff. I'm talking to the dog because Jan was upstairs sleeping.
And what was her response? Steve, don't get your hopes up.
You guys don't think you'll get a grant?
I don't know.
We looked into it for Your Prep, but we don't qualify because we don't have enough workers.
I think we will eventually get everything we applied for, but it's the eventually that scares the hell out of me because we qualify for all of it, and we're deemed by the government essential, and we're supposed to go to the head of the pack because we're essential.
But
I mean, the banks already said that this is going to be total chaos.
A cluster.
And that's why we have to keep doing this. We have to keep giving our listeners a reason to listen.
Yeah. And we this morning I was expecting that, what is it, employer payroll, whatever the hell. I was expecting that to be in our box saying fill this out, let her rip, and it's still not.
Well, and the reason I respect our advertisers because I'm sure car sales are hurting right now. I'm sure everybody's hurting right now, aren't they?
Well, I was talking to Carrie at AJ's place, Deary Chrysler, and she said that sales are pretty good.
Really? Good. Yeah. That's
and
good.
Deary Ford, it's the.
Yeah.
I mean, well, because you look for freaking diversions during this crap.
Hey, let's go spend $25,000 on a car.
Yeah, but that's
but it makes you feel better.
No, you're right.
Yeah. And you can get in your car, and you're not around people.
And you can use your car.
Yeah.
That's why I asked AJ about. I'm sure there's times where he gets in that nice big pickup truck and just goes and drives and does something. That is a nice. You see that thing?
Beauty.
That's nice. And that's. Hey, he earned it.
Yeah.
I'm sure he had no problem getting a loan for that car or whatever. Because and more power to him. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I mean, this is just odd, and then
it is.
And that's why that's why I stayed up the other night till like 11:30 when I got to get up at 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I was watching the Ozark on Netflix, and we started watching it at 6 o'clock, and because I didn't want to see anything. I can't go home and watch any news. I can't
watch news anymore.
I can't even watch local news because it's all about this.
I'll watch Fauci when he's on just to get the updates and whatever, but I can't watch the other stuff. I mean, I don't want to hear politicians on either side right now. I'm just tired of all of them. I mean, just do your job and shut up. That's kind of where I am with this.
Well, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Now, I know you'll laugh, but I've been watching so much Andy Griffith. Tons.
Well, it's not all the time.
Tons.
And you've got.
I've got them all too.
Yeah.
But I don't have to get them. I don't need to touch those.
I know. See, that really pisses off Jan. Jan will come home, and I'm watching Law and Order with the commercials and everything, and she goes, "You've got all of these," which I do. I watch those.
I'm the same
when
way.
Law and Order isn't on. But Law and Order is on.
It was funny. I was talking to my sister the other day, and she's like, "Well, you do have those Andy Griffith." I'm like, "Yeah, but if I touch them, they may." She's like, "Pat, they've been sitting in your house for 10 years. The virus can't seep in there." I'm making this virus out to be more than it is. I mean, if that's possible.
It's not. It is not a super virus. That's what's weird about it.
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's a pain.
It's just extremely communicable.
Yeah, and yes, that's the problem. I mean, could you imagine
what
this?
What the hell's a super virus?
Well, could you imagine this being Ebola and being that contagious? We'd be.
We'd all be dead.
We'd be. That's what's going to eventually could someday wipe us out if that ever happens.
Or an asteroid.
Hello. Or an asteroid.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey guys. I just wanted to say earlier that interview was. I listen to you guys every day, all morning. And I appreciate you guys being on. And I just want to say that interview earlier was one of my favorite ones so far. That was fun to listen to.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Calls like that help us, man.
AJ, I think AJ is in my top 5 individual players to watch under Kirk.
Oh, I can see that.
He was just fun on every play.
Yep. No, he was.
He's right up there.
Yep, I could see that. And how about me mispronouncing his younger brother's name throughout the whole show? What did you think of that?
Yeah, I heard you doing that, and I kind of. I don't want to say I was embarrassed for you, but it was kind of funny.
And I was wondering why they were laughing in the background, and now I know they were laughing at me. And
yeah.
But hey, no, that was fun. And for a 13-year-old kid, I thought he talked.
He did all right.
I couldn't imagine me being on the radio at 13.
Right, and he says he plays tight end. I wonder where he could go that develops tight ends well.
Yeah, if only there was a school that they liked.
Yeah,
that developed tight
ends. But no, we really appreciate you listening. We appreciate the kind words.
Yeah. Sure, and I just had one more question.
Hey, we got plenty of time.
Not totally serious, but it'd be fun to know who Coach Ferentz would want to be quarantined with. And not just like babes or hot chicks, but like historical figures or whatever.
I'll let.
I think his answer is going to be Mary.
Yes, and it better be Mary.
Yeah,
it's like your answer better be Jan, and your answer better be Ann.
Oh yeah, Ann's great to be.
Or Ann Margaret, Jan or Ann Margaret.
Jan or Ann Margaret. See, I'm not married, so I can say I can be sexist, like Jan said. I can say Raquel Welch from the '60s.
God.
That was a great call because she was mad. I could sense it.
Yeah, and she brought it up again the last 2 days.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah. It's a.
Thanks, man. We
thanks for the call.
appreciate you listening. And I stand by it. I'd rather be with Raquel Welch than Hal Smith. Although Hal Smith, I could at least get drunk.
Well, you could get. No, he didn't drink.
Man, that's true.
Yeah, he did not drink.
No, he did not drink.
Was he Otis?
He was Otis.
He was Otis, and he was Pooh Bear. Wasn't he Winnie the Pooh or somebody?
I don't know.
on that. Tigger, one of them.
He's not an Andy Griffith. You don't have time for Andy Griffith.
I used to love it, but I don't watch.
I normally
TV
don't watch.
shows again.
That's the only thing I watch. That I do watch In the Heat of the Night too. I love that show too. You ever watch that?
Yeah.
I
don't anymore.
My mom used to love that show when it was out,
Yeah.
from '88 to '93
Yeah.
when it was out. I never watched it back then. She'd always tell me, "You'd love this show." She'd always tell me how good Carol O'Connor was. A hell of an actor.
Great actor.
I mean, I think he's one of the most underrated actors. I mean, to be Sheriff Gillespie and Archie Bunker, I mean, it was. I mean,
the way he was, Bunker was just
because that was nothing like him.
No, nothing at all, and he was just
incredible.
Yeah,
he was a force of nature back then.
He was.
Can you imagine doing that show now?
They couldn't.
They couldn't. They couldn't.
No.
The Sammy Davis episode when Sammy Davis kissed him, that was one of my favorite episodes of all. The look on Archie's face after that. And then Edith running to get the door and the toilet flushing and just everything about that show.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it was very racially driven, but it also taught a lot of lessons, too. I mean, I thought, in a lot of ways, I thought it, some people say it hurt race. In some ways, it broadened horizons. I thought it did.
No, I thought it did, too. I don't know where it hurt anything.
But there was a lot.
Maybe with bigots.
People were saying it was insensitive and whatever, but no, I thought it really brought to light a lot of the issues we had.
It did, and it was very, very timely. I would think that might be a little dated now.
It is.
If I were to watch it.
It is, but I mean, I haven't watched. I maybe have watched one or two episodes in the last year. No, it's dated but you can tell just how good everybody was on that show as far as acting. It just
what's weird from shows from the 80s and even the 90s now are things that happen where the drama builds because you don't have cell phones. So many things that would be just impossible to happen now because a cell phone would.
One of the earlier Law and Orders, they're trying to find a payphone.
Yeah,
try to buy a pay.
Well, Andy Griffith yesterday, the man in the hurry. Remember his car breaks down, and he wants to make one phone call on a Sunday afternoon, but the two old sisters are talking about their feet falling asleep because they let them have the phone.
I do remember party lines. When I was like 4 or 5 years old, I remember everybody being excited. We lived in Rock Island. Everybody being excited because they were going to end the party lines. And before that, you pick up the phone.
I don't remember party lines. That's before my time.
Oh, yeah, way before.
And it was annoying.
Yeah.
Because you'd want to make a phone call, pick up the phone, and somebody else would be on the
I remember being like 4 years old, and there was a radio contest. And I tried to dial in, and there were people on the phone. And they go, they're yelling, who is this? Get off the phone, we're using it.
But no, there's a lot of people Epi and his wife are still going out on the front lines, and in some ways you could say putting themselves at risk. And I mean, my next door neighbor's youngest son works at the university, and he says now when they go in, they do this laser sensor thing before you go in to make sure you don't have a temperature. So they started doing that about 2 weeks ago.
I take my temperature every day.
I would.
I try not to touch.
You can't get one.
You can't find it?
No.
One of the things I keep hearing more and more, though, is don't touch your face. I try not to.
Well,
I mean, I don't do my face much anyway. People don't touch your eyes, don't touch your nose.
I touch my face, but
But I don't touch my eyes and nose.
I can't stop it. I tried, and then
But if you wash your hands, I mean.
Yeah,
well, that's the thing.
We got this cleaner here, and my hands are raw.
So are mine. I got little cuts. Yeah. But that doesn't mean you can wash your hands and then just dig into your eyes and nose and ear, and you still want to stay away. But you should probably not do that even during a time without a pandemic.
I'm not trying to.
You're not knee deep in your
my ear,
in your ear, your nose. Yeah, no, those are just lessons before and after a pandemic.
Yeah.
But no, what that caller said about, AJ'd be one of his top 5, I bet you talk to a lot of Iowa fans who would say that about AJ Epenesa.
Mm-hmm. A lot of fun to watch.
He was a lot of fun to watch, and just the whole story.
Well, and it's fun to pull for a kid like that,
yes.
Because he is so genuine and so hardworking and so
humble.
Team-oriented that, you gotta love the guy.
And that's the parents, don't you say?
Oh, sure.
It all starts with the parents. In a lot of ways, it starts with mom and dad. I mean, that's where so much of it starts, and it was just, like I said, that was just neat. And it took a little organizing, but Epi said we'd be ready, and he had everyone but their daughter was there. Their daughter, remember, she was a very good volleyball player at Purdue. She was the only one not there, and like I said, I really appreciate him doing that. And
that was great.
And then we'll have Kirk here.
They're just a great family. I mean, they're just a quality family.
Yes. I mean, just the fact that he still wears Ryan Driscoll's jersey, that just says so much about him. But I don't know. I mean, reading the stuff about these scenarios for football, I mean, I'll be curious to see if we ask Kirk, I just don't see a circumstance where football is going to be played with empty stadiums. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just don't see how they're going to be able to quarantine all these players and all the support staff and everything else that's needed, and yet still fans know if it's too dangerous, don't come to the games. How are you going to be able to do that?
I don't know, but all the scenarios, they're being worked on by people with greater minds than us.
Yes. The NASCAR for a long time, we're going to keep holding it, but then there's so many people on the pit crews.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many people that it takes to put the damn thing on itself. Even if you didn't have fans, you've got hundreds and hundreds of people, maybe thousands.
Well, then, okay, where does the football team stay the night if the dorms are still closed?
Yeah.
And what do they stay in hotel? I mean, there's so much involved with. Then you have teams flying in.
No, you're right.
I mean, it's just such a complicated situation. Now, let's say we do find. The news has been so bad with this thing. Don't you? I keep telling myself, and not any time. Sooner or later, we're going to get something positive.
Well, at some point, a corner will get turned, and there will be. I mean, they're already getting some of the tests that are instant results, so that's going to help a lot.
And they've got some drugs that they're experimenting with.
Well, do you see Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh?
Yes,
they've got they think they might have a vaccine. Now it's going to take 6-9 months but they think they might have a vaccine.
They got a vaccine. I don't know that it's. I think.
Well, I think they're going to speed everything up, and I think they might be willing. And I think there'll probably be some patients out there who are willing to take a few risks.
Oh yeah, if you're looking like it's going to be terminal, you're going to take. Why not? Why not take a risk?
To me, the strangest thing about this is why it impacts some people so severely and others it.
A lot of people bring that up and everything, but. You can say that almost about any cancer. Some people that had the stage of cancer that I had died.
But they still need treatment, though. Whereas
they take it different. I took my treatments, and I got to work every day. I didn't miss a day because I could. And some people take the same damn treatment with the same number of radiations, and they can't. They get definitely.
But with this, some people get this and never show any signs.
That's
it
right.
Hardly ever impacts them.
I've read a fair amount about it, as we all have. But the level of exposure that you have, like if you get exposed to the virus that's been there for a couple of days, you're going to be fine. I mean, you're going to have maybe an extremely mild case. If you have somebody that's got the virus, sneeze in your face, you're going to be in big-ass trouble. So that's what the continuum is everything from you're not even going to know you have it.
If you smoked, if you've had any lung problems or
overweight, diabetes.
I mean, they had one guy, a bus driver, that complained that this person came in and just coughed over everybody. He was perfectly healthy, and he died like a week later.
I saw that. Was that a bus driver in Detroit?
Yeah.
I read that. Very sad.
So, I mean, but for the most part, people tolerate the same disease differently.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just do. And some people can for whatever reason, and some people can't.
They do say, though, that diabetes and being overweight,
because
it weakens your immune system. Thank God I've lost weight. I mean, my timing couldn't have been better in that regard. I mean, because it just makes you stronger and better able to fight
this drives me nuts because this is allergy time, and I never had allergies when I was a kid, but now
I always get the sniffles.
I've never had allergies.
This time of year.
I'll cough and then I'll run to the thermometer, and Jan goes, "Jesus, you've had this every year."
Well, I had a little cough, just one, not. Sometimes you're swallow down the wrong pipe.
Yeah.
I had a little bit, and I went to a corner I was in Hy-Vee, went like this and hid, and I'm like, God, because I was worried that if they saw me coughing, they may throw me out of there or something. But it was not due to, and it was just I had to clear my throat.
People cough.
Yeah, I mean,
people cough.
But in this day and age, man,
I know it's We just run for the freaking hills.
And I told you about the sneeze that I sometimes, like, I sniff pepper or something. You sneeze, but I almost had to sneeze in Hy-Vee a couple of weeks ago, and I held it, and my eardrums practically popped out because it was so hard. I didn't want anyone to think that I was infecting them, and that's
you would have gotten a lot of dirty looks.
Oh, I would have. Yeah, that's just the age we live in right now. Yeah. I mean, it really is. But I mean, what do? You just got to keep grinding one day at a time. That's kind of how I look at it.
And it is grinding.
It really is.
It is.
And it's more mental than physical.
Yeah. More, yeah. I mean, I don't know why I really was down yesterday, and I couldn't help myself.
Well, because it's depressing.
And then today,
sure it is.
I go, well, it's Friday, and I know that,
And you can eat meat. I can't. I got to go home and have fish sticks. I mean, somebody called like I said, somebody called in last week and said we've got a dispensation, but then I call my sister-in-law, who's a religious. I mean, I'm hoping that she's so religious that she gets me into heaven just from being related to me. And she said, absolutely not. You should be fasting today.
I haven't had fish sticks since I was 11.
Well, I'm having them.
I used
to like fish sticks when I was a
kid.
kid.
I don't have a problem with them. I like them.
And I like tuna when I was a kid.
And I like fish, but I just haven't.
I'm trying to, because I'm not going to church now, so I'm trying to at least adhere to some of the Lent principles. So I have not eaten meat on Fridays.
Hello.
Hey, Pat and Tom and Captain, great show today, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
Echoing, good to talk to you guys. Echoing what that young guy said a little bit ago. Just another great interview with a great family. Starting with Epi and his wife, like you said, and the boys. You can tell are just the whole family's kind of humble and respectful kind of kids and people. And I know that starts at the top with his mom and dad there, and. Like you said, AJ was nothing but a class act all 3 or 4 years he's been at Iowa, but great respect and honor to the university and to the football team and to his family and to the state and Hawkeye fans. So we got to be thankful we've had him, and it sounds
there's more coming.
Yeah, another one coming there, and I was going to ask you. Do you know how big of a kid he is and what other schools are after him, Pat, at all?
Eric, I know he had a lot of, like, Missouri Valley.
Eric is not as big as...
Eric's not as big,
AJ,
but he's built, man. He's done a lot of weightlifting. Eric, if I had to guess, I think Eric's probably around 6'1", 6'2", 190. But we just don't know. He could be 6'2", 220 in 2 or 3 years. We just don't know. I mean, I think I see him as an outside linebacker type. I know it was funny. Somebody asked me on Twitter one time what position he played. And I thought I knew, and I said defensive back. And he basically played every position but defensive back. And Epi got in and laughed at that. I mean, I see Eric as being a linebacker, but, I mean, he's going to, he's also a long snapper. He can do a lot of different things. Eric wants to come here and help the team but he turned down some scholarships to come here. And
to come here?
Yeah, and because, I remember him tweeting, hey, I'm excited. I got an offer from, like Indiana State. I thought I remember they offered him. So, no, he's made a sacrifice to come here, but I think he realizes that he feels this is the best place for him, football-wise, socially, everything,
Sure. This has happened here, in the last week or so? He's the late recruit for this upcoming...
Oh, no, it was longer. He's been committed for at least a good month and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he committed a while
ago. Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess I missed that going by that. One other thing I was just going to say, down here in the Quad Cities, they've done some interviews with people like Nicholas Bear, that Matt Randazzo on Channel 8 talked to me a couple weeks ago. He had a good experience with the G League team for the Toronto Raptors, and I guess they had a 10-game winning streak going until the coronavirus ended their season like everybody else. And I think Nicholas said they were playing the Utah Jazz G League team, and one of those guys had this guy called down from the big team, from the Salt Lake City team, and they all had to be quarantined and that before they could come back to their homes and that stuff. But he's working out, and he said he'd like to go over to Europe. But of course, with the way things are going, who knows what's going to happen or when that'll ever be possible. Someday I'm sure it will be. But he was upbeat, and they showed Ethan Happ. He was playing in Italy, and luckily got out of Italy and showed him with a respirator or a mask on at home. And another kid that played at Augustana College down here in Rock Island, it was in Spain and also had gotten out just in, when all this stuff was starting to happen. So, and I saw yesterday they had Joe Wieskamp and Nicholas Bear and Ethan Happen that they're doing some virtual basketball workouts with this guy that I think was a coach at Augustana College. His name's Jordan Delp, but they were working out in their respective driveways and that stuff. So those guys are doing whatever they can to try to stay in shape and keep their shots going down there, guys. So cool. I guess we all got to just do what we can. And
Yep.
I was just going to say what Epi said. We got to put our faith in the good Lord and pray that we can come up with cures and stop this virus in its tracks and hopefully get everybody back and get the economy going. But
I'm with you.
Safety, I know, is number one there. So
yep, you're right, Dave.
Well, you guys take care and have a good day and go Hawks and stay safe.
All right.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks,
You too.
You too. I'm just glad there's smarter people than me on that. Could you imagine if we were the 3 smartest people on this earth?
Trying to come up with the vaccine.
Can you imagine us trying to come up with a vaccine?
Yeah.
Seriously.
I can't even make breakfast.
I
can make a mean breakfast.
I don't even know how to get on Facebook.
So as somebody said, you see what Jamie Pollard said. Jamie Pollard says they've missed out on roughly $5 million.
Oh, yeah.
So he's proposing a 1-year temporary pay reduction for athletic department coaches, and certain staff would reduce payroll by roughly 3.
And that could happen now. I'm not comfortable talking to Kirk. That's Gary Barta type stuff.
Yeah.
You ever get Gary on? No, I'm not saying that. Yeah, to me, that's putting Kirk on. Those aren't decisions Kirk would make.
No.
I'm sure they would maybe ask for Kirk's input, but I don't feel comfortable talking. But I did read that, and that's probably going to happen. I mean, the amount of revenue that's being lost from not having the NCAA tournament, and if they don't have football, there's a lot of us people in the media that probably won't survive.
No, I don't.
For sure.
I don't think this is not counting the networks either that pay the. I mean, he's not with the Big Ten, but the Big Ten network hasn't. I mean, no, this is going to be severe. This is going to be a severe money problem. No matter whether we have football or not, it already is. But if we don't have football, it's going to be catastrophic.
Well, it's
it
$110 million in the community here,
just here
for the 7 home games.
Yeah.
Well, and then eventually it's going to impact that big check the Big Ten Network gives all the schools.
You bet.
Yeah.
That thing's going to...
We've got all these new hotels that are empty.
Well, and then look at you guys can't do your auctions.
No.
Think about that.
And that alone, kills us.
Yeah, that really does. It really means a lot, those auctions.
As soon as they shut down the restaurants and stuff, that took care of 40% of our clients.
Yeah.
I mean,
what they're hearing now is us giving them. Because they're trying to. That's our goodwill, which we should do.
They'll be back.
I'm not saying slap us on the back.
And they'll
be
back. No, I get that, but they just literally don't have the money to pay right now.
No,
I get it. I mean, I haven't gotten paid from our Hawkeyes since February.
No, this is just. I don't know.
It ain't doing anybody any good except for maybe the people that make hand sanitizer.
And I'm getting ready to pay Tyler and some other expenses we owe, and that's not coming. That's coming from me, my family's money. I mean,
absolutely,
it's not coming from all Hawkeyes. I mean, we're all impacted by this.
No,
thing.
This is just. It's scary as ass. to be quite blunt, it really is.
And I guess the thing we come back to is just how contagious this particular virus is. I mean, Ebola wasn't there. How is Ebola transmitted from person to person? Didn't you almost have to have almost like, I mean...
I can't remember, but it was...
Not like this.
It was extremely lethal if you got it.
But it was not...
But it was hard to get it.
And I just don't remember the particulars. My worry, and we've talked about that, is if we ever get something like Ebola that's aerosol, we are...
Well, we're toast.
We're toast.
Yep.
And it's not crazy to think that could happen.
No.
I mean,
Ebola spreads through direct contact, such as broken skin or mucous membrane.
Yeah, kind of like AIDS.
Or blood or body fluids.
So you actually, you had to almost...
So a direct
someone who is sick with the virus.
But you could stand next to somebody with Ebola and breathe the same air and it wouldn't transmit. Whereas this virus, that could possibly happen. And luckily this virus isn't near as contagious. Because one thing we do lose focus of, and I'm not minimizing, 8 to 9 out of 10 people who get this thing are fine.
Yeah.
But that still doesn't make it
And
easier.
out of that, I mean, when you look at the deaths, you go, wow, but then you got to figure out the number of people in the country. And I mean, the odds are we're all going to be fine.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
but then,
except for the high percentage.
Yeah, and that's where we have to respect. And
when I say we all, I mean most of us. Yeah,
No, that's
I
right.
mean a high percentage.
Percentage-wise, what,
97% of us are fine. Another percent will be very, very sick, but will recover, and between 1.5% and 2% will not.
No.
So, I mean, but that's way higher than the flu, and the flu kills a lot of people.
So 97% won't get it.
Yeah.
And then of the people that do get it, 98% are not going to die from it.
No, yeah.
Or 98.5%.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
Now, I've read stories where they predict by the time this is done, 40 to 60% of us are going to get this thing. But that most will survive.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And a good percentage of us won't know we had it.
That too.
Because
and then that's part of the problem too, because those people are unknowingly spreading it.
Exactly. Well, that's why they want you to wear the mask.
And that's why I can't go see my mom.
Well, that's why I can't see my grandkids.
And we haven't seen Amy for weeks.
And we haven't gone to lunch.
No?
I haven't seen my mom since Christmas.
It sucks.
Wow.
And she's 90.
That
I don't know
sucks.
if I could FaceTime with her, but my mom doesn't. I mean, it's hard enough for me to FaceTime. You imagine me and my mom FaceTiming?
I've never FaceTime. Is that
it's
an app?
just a different technology.
Different app.
Yes, you can look at each other, and I mean, my mom stares at me. Oh, great! There's my son. I mean,
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Look at my son.
There's my son.
He's
unshaven, sunglasses, pathetic. And that's probably what she would say. And we're talking about a mom who used spoiled milk one time in my tomato soup because she didn't like the fact that I drank the night before. And I'm like, Mom, this soup tastes like crap. And she's like, because I used spoiled milk. And I'm like, why would you? Because you were out drinking till 2 in the morning and you're still living at home. Go away. She used spoiled milk.
Very harsh.
That is me.
Yeah, that is.
It's mean.
Way mean.
It's abuse.
Taught me a lesson. I said it was parental abuse, and she's like, "Yes, it was. Leave. Time for you to leave." I was in between college and getting my first newspaper job, and she didn't like the fact that I came trouncing home at 2:30 in the morning, drunk, and
I was in between college and getting a job, and I came home one night, and I came home. Was dated Jan. I came home at 12:15, 21 years old, been out of there since 17, and she goes, if you're going to live in my house, you're going to get in like at 11 or something. And I just said, well, I ain't going to live at your house. And I packed up all my crap and my portable television and a portable thing, and I left, and I slept on Jan's floor.
Well, I remember looking at my dad. He's like, "Hey, don't look at me. She doesn't even want me living here," But I know my mom still loves me, and she did so many great things for me. But the spoiled milk story is a true story.
That is a bleak story.
Hello.
This is Kurt calling in.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Coach.
Steve, I'm well. How about you guys?
We're doing okay. Pat Harty, I'm Tom Suter, and Captain Steve is the one who's going to make this all go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, first of all, before I forget, I don't want to get in trouble. Mary sends her best to you guys.
Good. Are you and Mary still speaking then?
Occasionally. Occasionally.
Well, Kurt, it's got to be really.
I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
This has got to be really disappointing for her with the football academy.
Yeah, it is. It is. This was year number 10, and it was going to be a big one. They were shooting for the $3 million mark, but gives them another year to plan even a better one.
So they're going to they'll do it again next year. Then will be the final one.
Exactly. Yep. Still do it.
Kirk, we had you on Wednesday, and we talked a lot about football. But what we didn't really ask you was, I mean, you're a husband, a grandfather, a father. How has this impacted you this way? I mean, you're a human before you're a coach, and I'm sure it's changed a lot of what you can do in that regard.
It really has, and it's interesting in that all of our kids are pretty much in the area here, at least right now. They are. James is back from New England, so he's here until they start up again. So we've got the kids in state. outside of Steve. Our youngest one's, off doing his deal.
Mm-hmm.
And more importantly, the grandkids are here. But because of what's going on, certainly, we're the nice thing is they're all close. The bad news is we really can't interact right now, so we're missing some opportunities there. Just same thing as, not being on the practice field. You're missing an opportunity, something you really enjoy. But it's just not realistic at this point.
So schedule-wise, I mean, for the last however long you've been coaching, 40 years or whatever, most of your days have been pretty much prescribed saying, I do this, and then I do this, and then I do this.
Yeah.
And now it's, what do I do? I mean, how much can you do?
It's really so different. In fact, Mary brought that up yesterday, and I'll circle back to that one. But, someone made that point to me somewhere in the last 48 hours and asked me when the last time I wasn't around for spring practice. And that was a great question. And actually, 1980 was my first year involved with college football as a coach. So I was at the University of Pittsburgh the year before I came here. So basically, from every year from 1980 until now, April would be for spring practice outside of the 6 years in the NFL. And then during that time, obviously, we were working on a draft. So you're still, kind of immersed in a full-time activity. So, yeah, from that standpoint, this is usually a really busy, it's a good busy, but it's a busy time of the year where you're really immersed in the football part of things. And outside of the NFL, you're dealing with players and working with players and actually out on the field, the part that you like the most. And right now, it's not realistic. It's not going to happen. And then beyond it, you're not only not with the players, but you're not in the building. You're not doing the things you normally would be doing. So there's a rhythm to what we do. There's a routine to what we do. And right now that's been rocked a lot. And then Mary reminded me of that yesterday. She goes, when have you done so much yard work in the month of April? And I'm sorry to say never. Or I'm glad to say never, I guess. But sorry to say right now she's got her, she's getting her way.
Kirk, could you see a scenario in which games are played next fall with empty stadiums?
Hopefully not, but I think right now everything's on the table for discussion. I think anything's possible. So I think that's probably I'm not going to say a likelihood, but it's certainly a possibility. I could also see somebody volunteered the idea of maybe playing next spring.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a real extreme adjustment, but I wouldn't take that off the table either. So that's worst case scenario. Hopefully, this whole situation gets under control here in the semi-near future, and maybe at some point this summer we'll get back to some semblance of normalcy. But I think at this point, everybody, it's foolish to plan for anything, too thoroughly because you just don't know. There's so many variables right now.
So have you had a chance to sit down with Gary Barday and talk about different scenarios at all, or is it just still too early for that?
Our first few conversations, and we're obviously not sitting in the same room, but we're just talking by phone. And first conversations were just about the immediate, what is taking place, the campus being shut down, et cetera. What's up with our players, how they doing, where they at, all those kinds of things. And I think now we're starting to shift towards looking towards the future a little bit. I think now that we know a little bit more, and it's apparent obviously that nobody's going to be back on campus this month or next month. So those two things are given, and then you start talking about the scenarios down the road. And I know the athletic directors in the conference, they meet daily. At least that's my understanding right now. They've been meeting daily via conference call every morning. And yesterday, as coaches, we all visited a little bit, and then visited with the athletic directors as well. And we are starting to talk about possibilities of different scenarios and what would be the barest bones plans to have a chance to get a team ready to play at the normal starting time, and then you start thinking about the other scenarios possibly too. So those kinds of discussions are taking place right now. But again, it's all kind of just kind of fantasy football at this point.
On Wednesday, you said it would take at least 4 weeks to a month to get your players physically conditioned just to get ready to start practicing football in pads. Is that how and then to get ready for a game, would that be 6 to 8 weeks? Because there's the conditioning part and then the football part. Isn't that kind of how it works?
Yeah, I think, I'm not going to say in a perfect world because it's not a perfect world by any stretch. Perfect world would have had us practice in the spring and really getting a chance to try to move everybody forward, even our older experienced guys, and, really evaluate the team and also build chemistry, all those kinds of things. So that's clearly off the table. And then knowing that that's off the table. So, yeah, I think right now if we could have the players here in June and July, like that would be ideal because then you'd have a chance to at least, take the month of June to kind of get them semi-caught up to where they were when they left here back on March 13th. And then, start transition in July to push them forward a little bit, that type of deal. So, that could happen. And if that did happen, I think, now you transition right into preseason practice. And, again, you can't really make up for the 15 days you lost, but, that is what it is. Then if you started, cutting it back a little bit, let's say the guys showed up in July, then you're looking at, at least the strength and conditioning staff would have a month to work with the players before they hit the field. But, yeah, me personally, I think that 3-week preseason stretch where they practice once a day and have meetings and walkthroughs, things like that, I think that's really kind of the bare minimum to get a team game ready. But before they do that kind of work, they have to be in some semblance of good physical shape, which that month of July would be really paramount for that.
And I know with your schedule in the past, you've never had time to be bored. I mean, your job is so demanding in so many ways. How tough is it to fight off being bored? I mean, I get bored all the time now. I'm sure you do too.
I really haven't gotten too bored so far.
Okay.
You're thinking about a lot of different things, and we're all trying to stay connected with our players. And as a staff, we just finished a staff meeting here this morning, literally 10 minutes ago. So, and our guys are now back in school. It's distance learning, a new term, another term I've never heard of, but we're distance learning. So, it's another set of circumstances to navigate through. But, so there are always things to talk about and things to consider. And, if we did nothing else, we'd just sit here and talk to all of our players for 8 hours. That would be productive in some ways. So, there's plenty of things to do and, still things to, projects that you've been putting to the side of your desk for, months, sometimes years, maybe giving them attention, that type of thing. Maybe read a book that you haven't had a chance to get to yet, maybe, whatever. And then obviously, like I said, Mary's had a little list of some stuff she wants to be doing. So we've done that. And then, at nighttime, get into Netflix or whatever, maybe there's a good movie on or replay of a good game or something like that. But no, I haven't gotten bored yet. Hopefully that day's not coming.
Well, you bought up Netflix, so what are you and Mary been watching?
Well, she watched, what's the one with the animals? Like everybody's watching that one.
Oh,
right?
Tiger King.
Yeah, Tiger King.
Yeah, there you go. I guess that's that guy went from 0 to 60 fast. But she watched that one not with me. I have no interest in that.
Oh, that was
I've
just
heard enough, so no interest.
Just a train wreck.
Have you seen Ozark?
We did actually see last week. We saw 2 movies. The Ruth Ginsburg story, which was I thought very good. I don't know if that's the name of the movie.
It's awesome.
But it was a good movie. I don't know if it was factually accurate, but it was I thought a good show, a good 2 hours. And then what's the one, Uplift or Upside, with the guy in the wheelchair? You know what I'm talking about?
I haven't seen that
the
one.
guy from Breaking Bad.
I haven't seen.
I've heard about it.
I've heard about that. Is
I
it
haven't
good?
seen it though.
And Kevin Hart. I thought that was a really good story, and it's based off of a true story. But that was it was entertaining. It was, I thought, really good. Very well done.
I got into Ozark, and I wanted. I can't watch news anymore because I've had enough of it during the day. So I got into Ozark, and we started watching it Wednesday night at 5:30. I got to get up at 3, and I was up till a quarter after midnight.
Okay. Well, we started that one a couple of nights ago, and that is a dark show.
Yes, it is.
So hopefully it's totally unbelievable, but maybe it's not. But she started. I'm like you. I watch an episode or two. I can't stay till midnight, so I hit the rack. That's when she threw the tiger. on or whatever that was.
So, Kirk, how do you do a staff meeting now? How do you do that?
We Zoom. So
okay.
I've never heard of the term Zoom until 3 weeks ago, and now it's our new best friend. So we're all doing it from our homes, and basically just compiling information, sharing information, and we've kind of got a network set up now for communication with our players, and so all we're doing is kind of sharing information, and then we meet with our academic staff as well. We did that yesterday, and we'll do it again on Monday. So we're just trying to, as best as we can, to make sure we're mindful of what our players are doing and what issues they may be having, what concerns they have and needs they may have. And it's probably, I'll share this with you, probably the most entertaining thing that has happened over the last 3 weeks is the one observation coming off of our call from a couple of days ago. The players recognize now when they're home, there's really not, there's a shortage of vegetables, I guess, in their diet. And so if we've done one thing over the last couple of years, we've gotten our guys brainwashed into thinking they should eat vegetables at their meals.
So this has had to really, really impact recruiting profoundly. If you can't get these kids on campus to visit, I mean, how can you make up for that?
It's in some ways, it's funny. In some ways, some of this stuff is just going to take us back to where we were 20 years ago. Recruiting, when I got here in 99, recruiting had really accelerated since the time I left Division I football, which was 9 years before that. So that was amazing. And now, the last 5 years, it just has really accelerated. So to that point, we're not really we're missing spring practice right now, which is my first and foremost concern. But then, in addition, this is a big traffic month. We get a lot of prospects and families through the building and on campus in the month of April. Typically, the last couple of years, that number's really gone up. So to your point, nobody's allowed on campus, and they just shut down the month of May as well. The NCAA did. So in some ways, it may, we just got done talking about that as a staff, it may look like it did more so 20 years ago where, we're going to be evaluating. I don't know if we'll have camps this summer, so we may end up evaluating, doing more evaluations off senior film than we are summer camps and those April visits. So I think if anything, it's probably going to shift things back a little bit, slow it down. And, it may be that, December is a more primary month for recruiting than June.
One scenario I was reading about from, I think the AP did a story, is they're proposing possibly playing a 9-game conference schedule. I guess the first thing that came to my mind was, okay, what about the teams that have to play 5 road games under that setup? Just would that be something? Could you see that happening? Would you like that idea if it came down to that? And what if your team had to play 5 road games?
Yeah, I don't like that idea. I think we are. I think we're up for 5 road games this year in the conference, right? So. I'm assuming they would just keep the same conference schedule that we have, and just push it all back on the starting date. But, they may come up with a different formula. But, that's one thing when they expanded us to 9 conference games in our normal schedule. It's good if you got 5 home, and it's bad if you got 5 away. So that hasn't really changed. And if that's what it is, that's what it is. You just gotta. If you're going to have a good team, you got to win on the road anyway. It makes it a little bit harder to climb. And I think 9-game schedules are possibilities. I don't know if they'd ever cut it to 7, but I could see potentially 9 games, and hopefully we won't get to that. But I think right now every possibility still looms out there.
We had the Epenesa family on earlier on the show. All of them, but the daughter. We basically talked to them from their home in Illinois, and it was just so neat talking to Epi and Stephanie and Eric and AJ. And AJ actually says he's coming back to Iowa City today to get some stuff, but they just said that they've just been relying on family, faith, and that's what you really got to do in this time.
It is. And they're an unbelievable family.
Yes, they are.
Just a great illustration of what a family should be. I think back to when AJ committed as a young high school student. He did it on a Sunday in January a couple of years back, but he picked that day because he wanted the whole family to be in my office when he committed to us, and that included his sister Samantha. She drove over from West Lafayette. She at that time was at Purdue playing volleyball, and that gave me a real good snapshot into the kind of family they have. And the last time I've seen the Epenesa parents was down at Stephanie and Epi was down when I unsuccessfully made a recruiting trip down there in January to just go down and see AJ and have discussion about the possibility of him coming out. That where I'm going on the whole thing, you go to the house and they had pizza from one of the local pizza places down there, and had the pizza out there. And I'm looking in the backyard, and they've got a big tire out there. The tires that the players flip. They had one out in their backyard, so Epi's got his little workout area there for the kids. But I missed that during my official visit because I was there at nighttime, couldn't see out. This time there was some daylight, but yeah, they're just a great family. You walk out of that house back in January thinking just how special a family they are. And selfishly, we would love to have AJ stick with us, but totally understand his decision, and he'll do very, very well in the NFL. So we wish him nothing but the best. But yeah, what a great family they are.
I'm not an NFL expert by any means. I'm not a combine expert. I have read where AJ's stock supposedly has dropped a little bit because I guess he didn't bench press enough or anything. All I remember is watching that bowl game, and he was going up against a tackle who was supposed to be a potential NFL first-rounder, and he owned that guy. What would you say to anybody who has any doubts about AJ Epenesa's football ability?
Well, I totally agree with your assessment. And one thing I learned in my 6 years in the NFL, a lot of mistakes get made at the combine.
Mm-hmm.
The most telling thing about any player is what you see on film or what you see on the field. When you're standing there. I've always said this, and I'm thinking of one player in particular last year that we played. I'll just say it was in the latter part of the year, who ended up going in the first round. And I thought that was a surprise. I'm anxious to watch his career. In fact, he played the same position as AJ. I'm anxious to follow his career to see what ends up materializing, because to me, if you're on the field with a first rounder, usually you feel that, like you can just, there's something different about guys that usually get drafted in the first round. And all I'm saying is that player last year, like I certainly didn't feel it, and I didn't feel it in our preparation. Like I was not overly worried about him disrupting our game plan. And typically the first rounders, boy, believe me, like that Simmons kid from Mississippi State, we had him circled like 16 times. Like that guy could disrupt everything. So my point there is, like, if you were playing us, I got to think if you're an offensive coach, you've got Epenesa circled, and how are we going to handle this guy? How are we going to keep him from just wreaking havoc on us? And you can take that combine stuff, the 5-flat 40. Like, he may have timed 5-flat. I'm not disputing that, but he doesn't play that way. And to your point, what you saw in the bowl game or what you saw pretty much in any of our games, that's who he is. And when you're on the field with AJ, the closest thing I could compare him to would be Adrian Claiborne. They're not the same player, but they have that same, explosion and impact that Adrian was a bona fide first-round pick, and just recently signed with Cleveland. So he's had a great career, and I feel the same way about AJ. I mean, I'd like to have him on my team. And on top of it, he's a great, great player, just a great person, but a great player, and kind of guy you want in the meeting room, the kind of guy you want in the building, the kind of guy you want representing your organization.
Coach, last year, of course, you had 2 first-round draft picks. This year, it's projected that you may get 2 first-round draft picks again. What kind of a little jump does that give you in recruiting? Does that open up some people's eyes that maybe wouldn't have been interested before?
I think it's certainly it's pretty unusual to have, we haven't had that. I don't think back-to-back 2 and 2 go like that. So, if that does happen, it's pretty historic. And what it means is I think, we've got the right guys working with us right now. And but I think beyond that, just their attitude, the way they do things, that to me is what's been most impressive about all 4 of those guys. And I think there's no downside to it in recruiting, that's for sure. It does get people's attention, and certainly most of the players that come to us have a dream or a goal of playing in the NFL. Also trying to share with them that, it's a really short-term profession. You don't get they pay a lot, but there's a reason for that. You're not going to be doing that when you're 50. So, it's not like an engineer that, comes out with a good job and then has that same job, 60 years later, still has a great income. So I just try to make sure we educate our players and understand that, it is what it is, but it's a great thing to aspire to, and we'll try to help them in all ways to attain that goal. But bigger picture, we're just trying to help them, get ready for their adult lives, whether pro football is going to be part of that or not. We're just trying to do our best as coaches to ensure they get the education they want to get, and then also, just learn how to conduct themselves in a way that's going to help them out as they become employees or become spouses or parents, those types of things.
Kirk, I got two more questions. I know we brought up AJ's character. I was talking to him about how sometimes he overshadowed Chauncey Golston, and he right away said, no, I didn't to the people who know football, I did not overshadow. That's so AJ. He just was uncomfortable with me saying, can you just talk about, that's him. That's how he is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, and that's one of the reasons I'd love to draft him if I was an NFL person is, both he and Tristan are similar in this way. They both got a lot of acclaim coming into this year. And I think both of them, to some degree, were kind of embarrassed by it in some ways. I don't think they disliked it, but they were embarrassed by it because they're uncomfortably being singled out from their teammates. And it's not a put on. It's very genuine. They're both just really good young people, and there's just an element about that it's kind of refreshing in this day and age. Where everybody, you look around the world, there's so much look at me stuff going on out there, and both these guys are just so opposite of that. They're just they just want to be part of the team. They want to do what they can to help the team, and that's right to their core. But in both cases, we talked about AJ's family, and Tristan's mom, Sarah, is just an unbelievable person. She's done an unreal job raising Tristan and his sister, and they're both great families. They're both great people, and so it's no surprise that both these young people, these young men, have turned out the way they have. And again, having some experience in the NFL, there's so much value in drafting somebody that you have no question about what kind of person you're getting. There's so much value in that. You don't have to worry about that variable, and that's a big variable in the NFL. You have to worry about that quite often because it's a little scary when you start handing over, X amount of $1 million to people, and you got to worry about if that's going to change their behavior. That's a little bit of a risky proposition.
I wanted to ask you about Bob Sanders. He's been one of the favorite players I've ever covered, and that goes back a lot of ways. And I've always talked about and heard other players talk, and even you have mentioned it before, about how he kind of changed the tempo when he got here. I'm not saying I don't want you to rank him or anything because I know you don't like ranking, but can you just talk about what he did? And I've heard that players that were teammates to him just said when Bob was out there, the tempo just changed. Can you talk about just how important he was in the early stages of your rebuilding?
Yeah, the one joke I always tell is that his first game was the one down in Kansas City against K-State, and they had the good punt return. It was going to set the record. And I swear, when that first punt went up in the air, Bob Sanders didn't know if he was in Arrowhead Stadium in front of whatever would be 65,000 people, or if he's back home in Erie. Like, it didn't matter to him. The ball was in the air. There was a guy that's going to catch it, and he's going to run down there and tackle that guy. Whether he had a K-State uniform on or Erie McDowell, didn't matter to him. And, Bob was a football player. So all he saw was a guy who was going to, be his victim, if you will. And sure enough, he took the guy's ankle out and screwed up his whole season, which is unfortunate. I'm not laughing about that. But the point is, that's just Bob. When he was on the field, he had one goal, and that was to, seek and destroy whoever had the football, which is what good defensive players do. And, I think one of the most impactful things we did when we put him in the lineup against Wisconsin that year in 2000, we lost the game. I think it was 13-7. But we had a chance in the fourth quarter. We had a chance to win it after we had gotten slaughtered the year before. And I think we gave up 420-some yards in that game. So it wasn't like we just stuffed them, but compared to the year before. But the biggest thing was our demeanor as a defensive team changed that day when he was out there. And that's what great players do, and that kind of circles back to what I was talking about. When you're around a first rounder on the field, like, you feel it, you just know it. And I realized Bob was a second rounder. If he was 6 foot, he probably would have been a first rounder. Mm-hmm. And I think if Bill Pulliam could do it over again, he'd take him in the first round. But, they got a steal. But bottom line is, he just impacted not only the defensive team, but the whole team. And I don't think it's a coincidence that when Bob got into our lineup, we've been playing pretty good defense consistently for the most part ever since that time. But he was the guy, to me, that got us jump-started defensively. And I think you could argue the same thing at the Colts. If you go back to their Super Bowl year when he was out of the lineup, all of a sudden they're giving up, 38 points a game, and then he comes back in, and boom, they clamped it down. So wherever he went, he was that kind of guy. And, again, just a tremendous young person. I just talked about AJ and Tristan's upbringing, and same thing with Bob. Bob's got great parents. Mom and Dad are just super people. And, so it's no surprise he came here. He just blossomed, and just so happy for him. He's doing a great job now as a parent. He's got a young family, and I think he's fooling around with stocks, too. So, I never would have envisioned that 20 years ago. I can tell you that. But it's pretty neat.
And Joe Moore, he had obviously the story. He had something to. Did he have to do a lot of convincing? And did Joe tell you that Bob was going to have this kind of impact? Did he see that in high school?
Yeah, that it's funny, and I'll tell you a quick story on that. But I'll circle back that one. So, what Joe told me, pretty much right off the bat, I tried to hire Joe first of all, right? Mm-hmm. So I said, hey, would you consider coming out here and coaching our line? And you want to guess what he told me?
No. Did he say no?
He said no, yeah. And he said, I'm too damn old, or, whatever. So I actually had a quick comeback for him. I said, hold it. Notre Dame told you you're too old, and you sued them. So now you're telling me you're too old? You can't have it both ways. And he won that case, by the way.
Yes, he did.
He won the case. So anyway, that was my response to him. But, he was coaching at Prep there. And basically what he said, he says, I don't know if you'll ever teach him to backpedal. I'm not optimistic you will. He says, but if nothing else, he'll make your team tougher, and he'll be a great special teams player. So, needless to say, that was his first impact. Was he played great on special teams, and then when we did put him in the lineup, that's probably the only time in 21 years where I really strongly encouraged that we put this guy in there. I talked with Norm. I said, I think we need to get him on the field. And the first thing out of Norm's mouth was like, what about our coverages? I said, let's just keep him down in the box, keep him down in coverage. Don't let him have a deep zone, and we'll see what happens. So anyway, that's how it all kind of got going. And then it was really a cool moment for me when they were in the Super Bowl against the Bears. Brian was still in the National Football League at that time, I guess. I think he was with Atlanta. So, he had tickets. Players had access to tickets. So he invited me to go to the Super Bowl. So we went. It was in Miami. And I remember three things about the game. Two things about the game. Okay, well, three things. Okay, so we get to the stadium. We're going up in the end zone. And we kept going up and up and up and up. And I said, are you sure these seats are in the stadium? You're a big-time player here, right? You got seats. We're in the next to last row in the end zone up there. So that was point one. Point two, it rained the entire game, which my wife took great delight in because, you mean that somebody didn't bring a raincoat out for you? I said, no, I froze. So I think that it's rained in 2 Super Bowls in the history of the Super Bowl, and we sat through one of them. And then the third thing, the opening kickoff, if you recall, the Bears ran it back for a touchdown.
That's right.
So three games in there. Tim Dwight, I believe, did the same thing against Denver, right?
Yep.
I think that was an opening game, and Brian happened to be at that game because he was same thing. He was there with my brother-in-law. Actually, went to the game, so he witnessed that one. And then the Orange Bowl in 2002, he was there for that one too. So he in that stadium saw 3 opening kickoffs returned for touchdowns, and all 3 teams lost the game. How about that?
Wow.
But when I was going on the whole thing that morning, when we got up and bought the Fort Lauderdale paper, in the sports section, there was an AP column there, and it was an article on Bob, and Bob referenced Joe Moore. So it was pretty cool cycle to see that Bob from being a high school player to getting ready to win a Super Bowl that day. And there was a nice article in the Fort Lauderdale paper, which I think came out of the Chicago paper, just about Joe Moore. So that was a pretty cool moment.
That is cool.
Yeah, it is. I wanted to thank you. For 20-some years, I sat next to Bud Supple in the stands, and there you couldn't have had a bigger supporter, win or lose, than Bud, and it meant a lot to the family, and it meant a lot to friends. Your courtesy and compassion at the reception, it really did.
Well, Bud was one of the good guys back in the '80s too. When I was here, never changed. And to your point, nobody more loyal, more supportive than him, and just the whole family. Great family. So it's a big loss for all of us. A big loss to the whole community.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule here today, and always fun to talk to you, and we could talk for hours and hours, but thanks for all that you do for the University of Iowa and all your great players.
And hopefully Kirk will get something back to normal this summer, and, just stay positive. That's what I'm trying to do.
And if you get too bored, you can always give me a call the night before and come in here at 5 o'clock. And you're on the air.
Coffee, I might do it. If there's coffee there, I might do it. So.
Well, Kirk, thanks a lot. We really appreciate your time. All right, thanks. Thank you, Kirk, very much. Appreciate your time.
I appreciate talking to you guys. Thanks.
All right, thanks.
Take care.
All right.
What a show.
Yeah, that was great.
You did tape it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we taped it.
We did it. We've Ustreamed it. It'll be on both.
Kirk just gave us almost 35 minutes.
I know.
Yeah, it was great.
And those stories, the Bob Sanders, I could listen to those stories forever. And I thank Steve Rowe for helping to set that up. And it's good. I know our listeners and fans want to hear from the people that mean so much to them. That was good for you to bring up because you said something the day after.
No,
he was there.
It meant so, and it meant a lot, not just the family, but all the friends. Bud, how dare you say one bad word?
Trust me. You think
Bud.
I had the nerve of being objective a few times, and Bud had no need.
Well, Bud did not want objectivity.
He did not want objectivity if it came at the expense of Iowa, and I get it. I get it.
Well, I remember sitting next to him, and somebody criticized the play or something that the coach had called, and Bud went down 2 steps and just got in his face.
One of my favorite moments, though, is when he said that I was the reason the Press Citizen was going in the crap. That was before the market started crashing.
Yeah.
Bud predicted the demise of the Press Citizen long before it actually happened.
And he had pinpointed the cause.
Remember those Saturday morning calls where, Harty?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and I really wasn't that negative.
The last time I talked, and I swear to God, it was the last time I talked to him a week before he passed. And he said something that you had said, and they were in Miami, him and Carol. And
was it negative that I said?
It was something, and he goes, and that damn Harty, and I said, and I just threw it. I said, well, I'll fire him. No, don't do that.
Did he know my name's Pat, or does he think my name is Damn?
Damn Harty.
I think he thought my name was Damn.
Yeah, he kept saying, why are you introducing him?
I'll tell you what, though, every time I saw him, though, he always treated me fine.
Yeah.
And he just wanted he loved the Hawks. I get it.
Did.
I get it, and I respect
that. And you couldn't say nobody else could say anything bad about you to him. No, that was
kind of like my family. They could say whatever they want about me.
Well, he never fed you spoiled milk.
No, he never did.
It's not really like your family.
That we know of.
But no, today was a fun show. I really appreciate the Epenesa family and Kirk coming on. Hopefully our listeners enjoyed this, and we'll have more good shows coming up.
All right.
After all this, my favorite story is the spoiled milk.
And it's true.
All right. AllHawkeyes.com. Get your subscription today.
At American Family Insurance, we know your life has many moving parts, from your 4 wheels to your hard-earned home and the financial future of your family. We'll cover the things that matter most. Bundle your home and auto policies for possible savings.